Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Alien tonight. Hopefully you can see us and hear us as we embark on a new mission with our Colonial Marine squad. We are down one player tonight, but not a particularly important one, because he probably would just lose an arm or something like that and cause everybody else have to like bend over backwards to help him and stuff. So no Matt, but Spud/Hutch will live on one way or the other for now. I don't know. We'll see. It's old with a D. It's not, old Matty Two Arms is the command. There we go. Before we get going on that, let's have everybody introduce themselves. Who are they? Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that. Just who are you? Who are you playing? Hey, Bert, how's it going, man? Future host to Chest Bursters. There you go. Perfect. Introduce who you are, your characters, etc., etc. If there's something you want to plug, go right ahead and do it. And Adam, not to be outdone, thank you very much. But 9 months is longer than 5, so Jen does kind of win there.
Yeah, because I switched my subscription from Radiator to this one. So
that sounds, I don't know, it says 9 to 5, but 9 to 5. Okay. All right, let's do intros. Melissa, who are you?
So I am Master Sergeant Margot Barrett. I am theoretically in charge, not running inside of vehicles to take cover and then getting injured. Little fact about me after last session, I'm currently sitting at 0 health and I've got a punctured lung.
Yeah, we had an explosive end to the session where things happened. People got hurt. Not Jeremy, but, like everybody else, basically, to some degree or another. The good news is that you've mostly successfully completed the mission, so we have some downtime here to sort of address those healing concerns, and so I don't think you're necessarily in too much danger. You have a couple days before that punctured lung kills you.
Fatal in 1 day.
You have a couple shifts before that'll kill you. You have like 2 shifts. Okay, let's keep it going. Chuck, who are you?
I am playing Staff Sergeant Eric Koenig. I kind of like Schrodinger's cat right now. Am I alive? Am I dead? The world may never know. But if I do die, I'll also be the new guy, Lopez, who has a girl waiting for him at home, which is a great comparison to Koenig's ex-wife stalking him through the universe.
Is
what
it
are
the
the
same
chances?
person?
Oh my God, I was going to say the same thing, Adam. What are the chances?
Oh no. Great.
Yeah. All of a sudden the Alien campaign just turns into like a Days of Our Lives episode. That's all it is. Just soap opera.
Be wonderful.
So, yeah. Melissa's character, Barrett, she does in fact die from the lung puncture and comes back, months later, but she's got a goatee now and she's evil. So it'd be great.
That's great.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, we've been doing, we were talking about this for the past couple of weeks. We have been doing the virulence rating incorrectly. We've been playing on hardcore mode with Koenig, so I think Koenig might actually be able to pull through as we were playing the virulence rating just a wee bit too high. And look at that, Melissa throws Jeremy a gift sub.
Come on, ride that train.
Wow, look at that.
That's why Mama Bear's the best.
She is. It's true. She's just trying to butter you all up so that you don't recognize how badly she cheats at everything. Anyway, moving on. Jen, who are you?
Hey everybody, this is Jen. I have a streaming channel called Pixel Prowler where we do some video games on Tuesdays and sometimes Thursdays and other days. But we'll be on tomorrow for some Tribes of Midgard starting at 6:30 p.m. Central. And today's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Jen.
21st birthday.
My 21st again. 34th
Wow.
again. Yeah.
Wow.
That day.
That's amazing. That's pretty good. Okay.
Vampire.
Did you introduce your character? Who are you playing?
No, I never do. I'm playing Sergeant Zoe Ripper, and she is a Comtech, not wizard, because last time I played, I bombed.
Yeah, but the time before, you basically took like the was going to be the major kind of final combat of the mission. There were going to be other things, but that was like the major one. And you turned it from like a really, really difficult encounter to a very, very manageable one with your contact
That's
roll.
true.
So that was pretty clutch. Like, I
Turned
think I
off the
probably would have gotten
pods.
somebody. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Bottom row. Adam, who are you?
I'm Adam.
Well done. Well
Yes.
done. Who are you playing? And who
I
are
am
you? And
playing-
what do you do?
I am playing Abbott, the synth medic. Basically, he's a hospital corpsman. Yeah, so that's what he does. His buddy Claymore really appreciates him a whole lot, and he knows it too. So it is something that is a curiosity that he likes seeing play out over and over again. But he truly, genuinely appreciates Claymore's company. And so that's wonderful. He is currently kind of missing an arm. You know, he decided to do that in solidarity with old Maddie one arm instead of old Maddie two arms.
Yeah.
And hopefully, though, it's just a matter of repairing for him, but we will see.
So, did you plug your Grim and Perilous stuff? Sorry, I was like looking at chat. I got distracted.
Click on the links, do the things. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm with Grim and Perilous Studios, and you know, I know I keep saying this, but we'll have a lot more announcements one day soon.
Sure. There's been some stuff going on in the chat as well as some bits have been thrown. Too Old to Twitch, thank you again. Set up a precedent apparently now that whenever it's someone's birthday, he throws out a bunch of bits and makes me sing happy birthday to them using one of my
God.
one of my character voices. So I think he says wait. So we'll do that. I'll do that after Jeremy introduces himself. I had to do Mama Purdy to Ashley on I guess it was Friday, right? Yeah, on Friday I had to do someone clipped it. It was god awful. But before we get to that, let's go to Jeremy. Jeremy, who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Jeremy, and I'm a wannabe gagger. I'm going to be playing Corporal Heckler A.W. Claymore. I want you to understand this. Master Sergeant Mama Bear does not cheat at board games. She strategically changes the landscape of the rules so that she can win, because winning is what matters. And Abbott, I hate you. Stop hugging me. Damn it.
Well played. Well played. She still cheats, but well played. That was an excellent twist. I like the spin you put on that. Okay, so Chuck, what's the voice am I doing? What am I doing? Oh,
I think weights is what
Mhm.
too
They
old.
did request
gotta
weights.
do weights. Okay. This is weights, right? Yeah, this is weights right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is it pre-dark weights or is it
Yeah,
new
I'm
dark
wondering.
weights?
I
Hmm.
like new
Well-
dark weights.
Well, his music's still gonna stay the same. It's gonna be exceptional either way.
True.
But
You
it's
have to
gonna
get
be
out the
like
guitar, Jeff.
Oh, God.
Make it for
I don't
real.
think I know how to play it. Do I even know how to play it? Okay. I got this. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jen. Happy birthday to you. There we go.
Oh, Wades, thanks so much.
You're welcome. There we go. I think
gonna see
Waits and
next
Gantu
year.
might be the same person, Chuck. I'm starting to think maybe. I don't know. One's just dumber than the other. All right. I guess I'm gonna have to do it on Friday and then on Saturday 2 more times this week, because every time we play this week is someone's birthday. So get your checkbook out, Too Old to Twitch.
At least it's not what I thought was going to happen.
What'd you
where
think was gonna
You
happen?
know what to do, Jeff. And I was like, oh, he's going to
Oh, kill
kill
you?
me off.
No. All right. So let's get started, shall we? Oh, I got an emote. Nice. All right. So who was missing last time? I think Adam and Jen, you were both missing last time. Okay. So
Yeah, we were.
basically they started last time So the whole mission has been to go to this moon where Hyperdyne Systems, the synthetics company, they have a big factory. It got overtaken by renegade synths. You've been sent here to sort of reconnoiter what's going on, take back the moon if possible, figure out what happened to a different ship, the Asteria, that was originally sent here to deal with it, and then they disappeared. And you managed to kind of complete 2 of your 3 objectives. One of those objectives was to dig into the Hyperdyne system, see if you can get out some black projects, some data about that, which you did. You learned a bunch of things. Another one of those things was to sort of just take the moon back under control, and you've been able to do that as well, eliminating a lot of these synths along the way. And the third thing about finding the Asteria, you haven't really been able to do, but that's going to end up kind of being sort of transitioning to our next mission. So last time they finished clearing out the factory itself. There was a secondary nursery. There were some other things here and there. The Comtech rolls didn't go so well, so the combat was a little trickier, but they nonetheless managed to get out from underneath of it. And then they ran at that point. So things were more or less okay. Attempts to help Koenig haven't really worked out. He's got a little bit of time left. On their way back, after discovering that Bud McCall was possibly a replacement synth, they all kind of went back to the ship. When they got to the ship, they saw smoke and sort of fire and stuff. There was something going on. There was some sort of attack. You got kind of debriefed from the pilot and from pilot Lewis Forrester, and then Yuri, the chief. She helped as well. Turns out that all of the synths that you guys had brought back from several episodes ago were actually replacement. They were all synths. They weren't actual survivors, and they attempted to take over the ship. Fortunately, there were enough people on the ship to kind of fight them off. And at a certain point, Bud kind of locked himself in the med bay with Theo Ellis, the officer, with Hutch, who was recovering from having his arm ripped off. You all broke into it. You just burst in. No trying to look through vents or anything. Just burst right through the door, and Bud exploded intentionally, as he had buried some explosives in his chest, ripped his chest open, and just caused them to explode, which caused all sorts of stuff. Sadly, we lost Yuri in the process. Margot Barrett is our master sergeant is not looking good either. Koenig is on, so the top 2 ranking Marine officers are out. Theo Ellis was knocked out. Hutch was okay. Claymore was okay. Ripper is okay. And Matt Spud's character is okay as well. So I think what we're going to do to start off is we're just going to kind of montage sort of some shifts and some roles here and there before we kind of move on, because we don't have to be too granular. One last thing I should mention is that you all went to the communications tower as well. We did that fairly quickly, and you found that there was some kind of synth that had spliced itself into the control console, and you found that there was evidence that it was sending signals out into deep space, and it was also the cause of that communications blackout. And so once that synth was detached, communications were back up. Mother could actually reconnect to the network. You could actually send messages to your general, all those types of things. Some of that was happening kind of off screen, basically. So let's do some sort of montaging. So over the next couple of days, what basically is going to have happen is some repairs are going to need to be done. The ship itself has suffered some damage. None of it is catastrophic. Yuri, she was able to keep them from getting into the nuclear reactor, which would have been horrible if that would have happened. So she was able to keep them from getting there. The pilot, Lewis, was able to keep them off the bridge. But there were nonetheless some component damage. Most of it's minor, and that's going to take a couple of days worth of repair. We'll say you probably also were able to get kind of on network communication. You've got some reinforcements that are now coming. You were able to sort of debrief. And so really your job over the next few days is just to stay here, to kind of stay in your fixed position. You eventually be relieved by a larger force that's going to come in and sort of bring everything in their bag. But we need to do some heals for people, because Koenig is nearly dying. Abbott needs to have his arm repaired. Barrett is also dying as well. So in no particular order. I guess it does matter the order to some degree. Abbott, would Abbott feel like they could perform surgery or medical aid with just one arm?
No. He would definitely not feel like that is the best course of action.
Okay. If that's the case, then the most likely person to effect repairs on you would probably be Ripper, as it is a Comtech role.
Yep.
Okay. So we see on the camera, I guess we kind of montage through, like, you know, Ellis is on the horn typing messages through Mother. We got Claymore, maybe someone that's trying to help with repairs. We got like him and the pilot are kind of doing some things. Koenig is recuperating. Barrett is recuperating, all in the sort of the what's it called? Not the med lab. It's not a med lab. Med bay with Hutch as well, who's missing the arm. And then we see, like, somewhere in engineering, we've got Ripper kind of tinkering away, peeling back some of the outer dermis of Abbott and kind of making some connections and corrections. Plenty of replacement parts are available as well if necessary. But over the course of that shift, there's not much issue. So the two of you kind of hammer away, and you get your arm repaired. So your arm is back, so you can kind of remove your injury now, Abbott. So, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, with those 2 successes, I heal 2 health, right?
Should, yeah. And
Okay.
healing, the bigger thing is just fixing the injury, because you guys will have time to, like, get your health back naturally. So over the next couple of days, as you wait for reinforcements.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was different for a synth or not.
I don't
You know, like if we needed to roll that out every time, or if we should just hand wave it as long as we succeed.
I think the first success is you clear the injury, and then the second success usually adds an extra heal. So just say take an HP on top of that. So you fix your injury, and then you take an extra health on top.
Okay, so I'm at 1 because I was at 0. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 is enough.
All right.
So then Abbott would insist that he gets to work on this procedure, because it is of utmost and vital importance that we get to Koenig's stomach wound immediately.
I see.
I would not risk waiting any longer.
So we go into the med bay, start of the next shift. We see Koenig's out. We see Barrett's out. Both of them are kind of sedated. Hutch as well, sedated. Barrett's breathing terribly, respirator, is kind of beeping like crazy in the room. Koenig is every now and then getting up and retching, or whatever it might be, whatever's a problem with you. Maybe Lopez or Dawson, one of the new Marines, are there, kind of just lending a hand. But until Abbott arrives, there's really no one. And so you come in and you can see these 3. And while Barrett and Koenig, Hutch, you're confident is not going to die. They're out of the woods. It's really just about, like, the creative attempt at surgery that you might try later in the week. But Barrett and Koenig are both looking pretty shaky. Koenig, though, seems like he's on death's door, whereas Barrett might have a little bit more time. So take all the bonuses that we gave you last time, so like the med pod bonus and everything, because you do have some. There's some on Moon, so we could even say you take them somewhere else, but take like I think we said like a +2 or +3 for that. And,
which one is it? 2 or
I think
3?
it's +3 we did, because I think it was +2 for the pod and then +1 for like a kit is what we were doing. So I think it's +3.
Sweet. Right.
And because we kind of screwed this up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the virulence rating like 4 times, and if your 2 successes beats any one of those 4 rolls, Koenig's okay. Because I think it should have been about 4 shifts or so. I think that's about right. So the first one is 2 successes, so I think you're good. I think all you need is to match. I don't think you actually, no. Do you need a beat, or do you need to? Let's double check. Let's double check these rules. So Yeah, you got to beat it. So
Okay.
the first one's no good. So basically, because it kind of eliminates successes, is what happens. That looks good right there. That's a bunch of 1s and 2s.
No
So yeah,
successes.
so it takes pretty much the entire shift, we'll say, of you kind of going in and peeling away some of the sort of the damaged flesh on the inside, like repairing some of the intestinal damage that's in there. Koenig's probably going to end up losing some weight later in life, as his intestinal fortitude is probably going to take a little bit of a kick here, and he probably needs to only eat like liquids for a while, as anything too sturdy is probably going to cause him some trouble.
That's fine. After I left my ex-wife, I lived on nothing but liquids for a while.
You do need
Buddies
to be
Jack
careful.
and Jim.
You do need to be careful what you do with your right leg.
What's wrong with my right leg?
Nothing is wrong with your right leg. It is actually quite in good shape. That is the reason I chose that leg. It is the one that your colostomy bag is wrapped around.
Oh God, is that permanent?
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
However,
I mean, I guess I could use it for tactical advantage if I need to.
I suppose.
It's a dirty
Also-
grenade.
Also, if you needed to fertilize some plants, I suppose you could use that too.
Yep.
So
Okay.
as this conversation is happening, after you're like pretty much instant, like within like 3 or 4 minutes after you're healed and you wake up and everything and you're conscious and you realize you've got a new lease on life, the pilot Lewis Forrester walks in and is like, hey there, Staff Sergeant Koenig, we just got the jump bucket back on network, and you've got like 22 messages from someone claiming to be your ex-wife and something about not paying alimony and whatnot. They're some pretty long messages and kind of eating up the inbox of the ship. So I'm just gonna go ahead and they're over there in that terminal right there. If you can just go ahead and start reading through them.
Listen, I need you to do 2 things for me. 1, delete all those messages, and 2, get the airlock ready to vent. Now I'm gonna go stand inside of it. I'm gonna escape one way or the other.
Right. She did mention something about how she was still listed as your beneficiary in the case of death. So, well, okay, yeah, no problem. I mean, we are on planet still, so I don't think the airlock's really good. Well, it's toxic atmosphere, so yeah, I guess that can work too.
You married, son?
No, sir.
All right, I'm gonna remember that just in case.
Koenig,
Yeah.
you do realize that I cannot let you take that action. And if you were to head in that direction, then I would need to leave Master Sergeant Margot Barrett.
Relax. I was just talking some talk. It's fine.
Yes, your attempt at humor. It is amusing now.
I'm glad I got through there, buddy.
Yes. Forgive me. I did not catch it the first time. However,
It's all right. Just like that damn kid could never catch anything. Worst
Yeah.
playing catch.
yes.
There we go. All right, you got work to do, buddy.
All right. Very well.
Okay, so Abbott starts getting to work on Barrett. Ripper. So one of the other things that they managed to do is they managed to dig up sort of a significant amount of like data and hard drive data and stuff for the actual from the actual stuff that they grab from the signal tower. If you want to go ahead and roll a Comtech to see if that gets you any info.
No. Hey, I got the heal. Got where it mattered.
You can push if you want. Okay, one will get you something at least. So one will basically show you that the biggest thing is that you are able to kind of isolate kind of one specific kind of routings, like one specific point, like as you were seeing when everyone first got to that communications tower and they were messing around with the synth. It was kind of peculiar, but the big thing was that like there were multiple signals that were being sent out into deep space trailward, so to speak. And with one success, you are kind of effectively able to sort of triangulate like a specific set of coordinates that looks to be just outside the 20 parsec limit. Now, what that means is that like the idea of like the 20 parsec limit is like this is the radius within which the network works, that like that mother accesses, that there can be support for a variety of things. And anything beyond the 20 parsec limit, if you go past it, you're kind of just on your own. And there's like historically over the past 100 years, there've been various like these large projects to send these huge colonization ships. So the entirety of like Alien Covenant, for instance, is one of those ships. So like the Covenant going off. So you're basically getting a trailward signal beyond the 20 parsec limit, and you're able to kind of pinpoint it as like right beyond the barrier, like right beyond that kind of the furthest extended point of the network. And so you could theoretically set a course for it, is what I'm saying. All right.
I think I know where this signal goes.
I rolled to heal Barrett in all 14. Did not come up as a success.
Okay. I think you got one more chance because she's got like 24 hours. And so I think you've got like one more chance at this.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa.
That's fine.
So you, like it's you work through the night on Barrett. I mean, you don't require sleep, so you don't necessarily need to worry about that. But the first 10 hours of her 24 hours was spent on Koenig. The second shift you spent on her, so that's 20 of the 24 hours. So like you basically get one more shot at this. There you go. So somewhere deep into the night, after everyone's kind of gotten some rack time and whatever, and you're still working, you manage to kind of make a little bit of a breakthrough. She starts to breathe kind of on her own without the need for the respirator. Still labored. The punctured lung is still going to need some sort of deeper repair, and so you know that over the course of some time, and maybe if you get into the one of the med pods, you can probably see if any of them can be programmed to kind of stitch up. But you've gotten her out of the woods. Like she's gotten to the point where she's probably not going to die, but she's still going to be suffering for a few days, essentially from the effects of the injury, is where we're at.
This result pleases me exceedingly.
First thing Barrett's going to do is want to know how Koenig is. Like, please tell me you worked on Koenig before me.
I did.
And?
He was in a much more dire situation than you.
Good. How is he now?
He is alive. Although, he is ignoring his messages.
From his ex-wife?
That is affirmative.
Yeah, he does that. I don't know why she sends them. She should know by now they never get read.
Ah, yes, I was attempting to inform you that his mental state is well.
That is true. He is acting like himself.
Yes.
Good to hear. I'm going to roll over and take a nap.
Have pleasant dreams.
Jeremy, what do you think Claymore would have been doing throughout all of this?
I mean, during the day, he probably assisted with repairing the ship. He's no good at comtech, but he's pretty good at heavy machinery.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think he was waiting outside the door of wherever Abbott was, just waiting to murder him if he failed to get Master Sergeant back up.
Okay, I can picture it now. Like the doors close after the first shift in which he failed, and he comes out, and she's not better, but not dead yet. There's Claymore on the outside. You're probably repairing the med lab, because remember, the med lab's where the explosion was. There all that internal damage. Maybe you're fixing some paneling and whatnot in there. So you're just hanging over the shoulder. There's a hole in the wall. You can look through it like it's a window, peering at Abbott as he does his work. Okay.
Your confidence in me is comforting.
Sharpen focus.
I appreciate you looking out for me while I'm doing this. It helps me to concentrate.
Shut up. Do your job.
So, so I guess the last thing we can take care of, the last like kind of odds and ends that we can take care of before new mission brief. Did you want to try to attempt experimental surgery on Hutch to try to attach one of these synthetic arms?
I would go to Koenig, sorry.
Yeah.
We do have one of these arms. And I do know that if I were to be successful in attaching this arm, Hutch would be appreciative. However, if I was unsuccessful, Hutch would not be appreciative. However, technically he would not appreciative. It's just that he would not be able to be unappreciative. Because he would be dead.
Oh, that's a very intense escalation. So it's you give him a robot arm and he's fine, or you try to give him a robot arm and he dies.
I give him a robot arm and he's better than he ever was.
Wasn't there the thing back there that like scans them and it makes it a match? Wouldn't that make it better suited for him?
Yes, that is a part of the process. I want to thank you for reminding me of that process in case I had forgotten it. However, my memory does not work like yours. I did not forget. I appreciate you looking out for me. Buddy.
I love to see you two coming together so well.
Isn't he helpful?
Two peas in a pod.
Don't condescend me, man. I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, why don't you go for it? I mean, you know, robot arms are cool as shit.
They are.
Okay. So if you attempt it, I need both a successful medical test, and I also need a successful comtech test in the attempts to sort of make sure the various, because remember these things have circuitry in them and everything like that. So, so I'm gonna need one of each.
Sergeant Zoe Ripper,
Yeah.
how is your stomach after this mission? Your proverbial stomach.
It's intact, if that's what you're talking about.
Do you think you have the wherewithal to assist me in this procedure?
Yeah, I'm not worried. People and, you know, computers aren't much different.
Very well.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
I hope.
Okay. So we need that medical aid roll now.
Yep.
Holy crap! Where was
Oh,
that
wow.
for coding?
Wow.
Where was that for
Wow.
coding? Would have been fine.
Oh
right
my
there,
goodness.
Sid. Holy
Nuts.
crap.
Maybe,
Oh my goodness.
maybe one of
Wow.
Matt's characters won't kill one of mine next time.
He's pretty vicious.
Remember that
Ran
one
right
time
at
I
her
gave you a
for
new
some
arm?
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you have time to kill as you await arrival. You know that like there have been ships that have been detached to send towards you. It's going to take at least like 10 days time to get there. So while you're on ship, probably every day, just to be sure, maybe like, you know, small team goes out. Maybe it's Lopez and Dawson, Claymore and others. Maybe it's Spuds, whatever. They go out and make sure like there's no stragglers here or there. There's no movement anywhere. Take the motion sensors with you just to kind of keep just to be sure. Just, you know, that there was that Hazel woman that kind of got away. She was the only one, but you managed to get one of, you know, that whole bag of like synth limbs and whatnot. You get some of the machinery and everything probably from the factory, and you dedicate a good 2 shifts probably to trying to figure out how to make this work. You're on network now, so you're able to access a lot of different information about actual artificial limbs. And when you wake up Hutch at some point to test to see if he's got mobility to it, in his I think he's like No, he wasn't Deep Southern. That was the other guy. But Hutch manages to move it about and kind of does the whole Luke Skywalker thing where he's just sort of pointing, poking the middle of the hand and seeing if he's got the dexterity and agility. And it's going to take some time for him to adjust. But Hutch does now have a synthetic arm, which is not going to work as well necessarily as the human arm. But with the roles that the two of you had, it's going to go pretty well for him, I think. So I'm writing that note down. Sith arm. Okay. So unless there was something else that anyone wanted to do, the rest of your time as you await relief is fairly boring. You just kind of go out, you do your thing, do some training, I'm sure, increase your skills and talents, but eventually you hear some network out, you hear some communication in system. There's 2 ships that have arrived now. Over the course of the next 2 shifts, you can see there's a variety of different drop ships that start coming down, unloading additional Marines here and there. And eventually you are freed up. Now, once you're freed up, your intelligence officer, after kind of pouring through the various data that you were able to collect, and after being in contact with General Braddock, your commanding officer, you're basically briefed with a new mission. And the new mission is building off of the old mission, because one of the things that you haven't yet done is figure out what exactly happened to the Asteria. You were able to get some evidence that it was here. Obviously, Dawson and Lopez can confirm that. You were able to actually get information that more ships were dropped, but you also saw on some security footage that there were synth-controlled ships going back up. Like, they actually took control of some of the drop ships and were heading back up to the Asteria in orbit. And considering that there's also a body that you found on the orbital lifter when you first arrived, you probably conclude at this point that it's possible that the Asteria has been taken over, which is not something that your General Braddock is particularly happy with. So your new objectives, which I'm going to go ahead and share once more, 2 of them have been complete. You can see I've moved those down. But your job at this point is to send out, like, the mission that you've been tasked with doing is to travel trailward towards the coordinates that Ripper was able to uncover. Navigational charts suggest that that's just empty space. There's no way of tasking deep space telescopes or anything. That's too much to figure out exactly what's there. But navigational and astral charts suggest that's just empty space. It's between systems. So there's no planetoids. There's no asteroid fields of record, and there are no systems that the particular coordinates that Ripper was able to sort of dig out. So you're supposed to go there, figure out what's there, why it's there, and what the hell it has to do with these synthetics. Like, what were they beaming to them? You're still tasked with locating and recovering the Asteria, seeing whether or not this signal blip that you found has anything to do with it. And you're also, as this very top secret information now, extraordinarily top secret information, that there are now human replacement synthetics out in the world now. You're supposed to figure out to what extent that is, how many have gotten off ship or off planet. Are there any additional sites where these things are being constructed? All that kind of stuff. So that's what you're tasked with doing for the next time. Any questions on that? I guess Officer Ellis would ask.
Nope. Go to the place, get the ship, kill some synths, find out how many are running around out there, go kill them too.
Okay.
Is there anything we need to know about traveling outside of that limit?
You're on your own. Mother will not have access to network. So you will not be able to send messages back into network. You will not be able to get in touch with Braddock. Anything that happens out there is going to be difficult. If something happens to your ship, if it becomes damaged, if it runs out of gas, so to speak, you might be SOL. I mean, it's hard enough to get those types of signals to be picked up within network, but being completely outside of network's even worse. You would know that historically speaking, there have been colonies that have been completely cut off because of this, because of that limit that came out. And it's been out for like 30 plus years, depending on, when we're playing, because we're playing in like the late 2180s. So it's been like 30 years since that's
appropriate
been...
to set up some sort of a ship that will come out there in 2 weeks to the edge of the limit. And
so you would basically get briefed on a few things. One, we are playing effectively during around the time in which the Frontier Wars are actually happening, but we're playing on an opposite side of space. And so there's limited resources you have. But there are ships that are on standby at Naval Base Liberty Echo, should they be needed. But you are more kind of a reconnaissance mission. Special Forces, you got the stealth ship. So if there's something out there that is in need, you have the ability to potentially jump back, radio, but it's all about timing, right? Because the ships don't travel like instantaneously. It's not like, Star Trek warping, like everything takes weeks to travel depending upon the quality of the engines. So there's that. All right.
I think before we head out there, we can get some tactical nukes.
I think you have some. Let me double check.
There we go.
Let me double check here. Let me see what I gave you. Did I give you tactical? I think I might have given you some nukes. Did I give you?
well, all right.
You have short lance ASAT missiles. You have 8 of them. Each one of them costs about 100 thou. So yeah, you have 8 missiles in your inventory and a light railgun turret on your ship. Your ship is more about stealth, but those missiles do pack a punch depending upon what they hit. If you would all know that if you had to go head to head against like the Asteria, you would get torn to shreds. But if you could, if there's ways in which you could kind of sort of cloak yourselves to various radar signals and things of ships or stations or planets and stuff. So there's ways that you can operate in ways that other ships can't. So yeah, you have some. You just weren't allowed to use them on the factory. That's all. Okay.
So I'll do just a department check with everybody. Is everyone ready to go?
Good to go.
Whenever, wherever.
Now that you two are back on your feet, yeah?
Yep.
I may need some additional repairs, but I am ready.
We will see to that during our travel time then.
Okay. Well, I mean, actually, you're going to be in cryo for most of the travel time, but before then, yeah, we can hand wave that. There's plenty of time between like just the downtime, waiting for relief, and then travel time. Everyone can reset their health and stress by the time we start up. Yeah. So time passes. We get another one of those classic alien montages where we just see the ship traveling through like dark space. We see Abbott like patrolling the halls and stuff as a synthetic does, doing various upkeep as is required. The ship can do some of that as well, but Abbott, much like Marshall used to have to do, is able to do this once a week effectively. I'm not going to make you do the roll, but basically it's like one heavy machinery and one contact roll per week to avoid potential issues. But I won't require that just yet. But weeks go by in terms of this travel. If you're looking at the star map, we literally are going off the bottom of the map because we are going trailward. Eventually, Abbott, I would imagine all of you have probably programmed Mother to the onboard computer to basically drop yourselves out of like hyper travel within a particular radius of the signals, and we'll say that's where we'll pick back up. And so one by one, everyone wakes up, no issues, jump out of cryo, get immediately back into your uniforms, get yourself settled up, and eventually after some time, it's probably been about, like calendar wise, it's been about a month and a half since you all took off from the moon by the time we pick up again. And we're on the bridge. All the important people are there because you all are the important people. So you're on the bridge of this small ship where you're leaning in and looking through the door out through the bridge, and you're getting a series of signals. Ripper, go ahead and roll a comm tech. And then Barrett, roll a command to order Pilot Lewis to do something. We're just going to take your command. The quality of your command is the quality of his piloting. That's what we're going to say. Okay. So Ripper, you got one success?
Yep.
All
Just
right.
one.
You're able to, using your onboard sensors, you can confirm, first of all, that there are no planetoids around here. There's no bodies around. There's no asteroids fields. Nothing. You're in dead, dark, empty space. But it seems that the signals are being routed through some structure out here. Whether it's a ship or a station, you're not entirely sure with only one success, but it does seem to be something artificial out here. There's nothing natural out here. You're getting like distant signals that suggest like kind of satellites, a series of satellites and dishes, the way you might have stacked upon like like a frigate or something like that. So you're not sure if it's a ship or it's a station, but there's something out here at the coordinates.
There's something out here. Hopefully we're not coming up on a Death Star of some sort.
Yeah. Well, if we go quiet, sneak up to it, maybe we can get a closer look, get a little more intel.
Okay. So with 2 successes on the piloting test, you start to move a little bit closer. He's kind of keeping the engines like kind of cool, trying to keep yourselves beneath radar, all those types of things, trying to make sure that the ship itself isn't particularly identifiable. I am going to roll a test to see if that was successful. Okay. So you probably travel for about another couple hours, maybe about 5-6 hours, continually pinging, continually trying to get like more information on where this is going. You're picking up additional signals being routed out here, but you can't quite tap into what those are. They seem to be encrypted, but you're able to kind of intercept and piggyback what looks like other signals coming from network back from the core systems being sent out here. So it doesn't seem like the Hyperdyne Moon was the only place that seems to be sending signals out here. It's like there's more that are being routed out. It could be random, but the fact that they're all being kind of pinpointed into this one little spot suggests that that's probably not the case. In that time, you've seen no change as Pilot Lewis gets you all closer. You've seen no change to any kind of behavioral pattern. But now that you're a little bit closer, you can go ahead and roll another comm tech if you like to see if you can pick up anything else.
2 success.
Okay. So with 2 successes, you can be certain that there is a stationary object, meaning like there's some kind of station out here. You start going through the data coming back. You don't see any kind of signs of like hyper engines, things like that. You think this is most likely a station or like a rogue satellite of some kind. You've been in the Hyperdyne databases, and you've gone through plenty of these records of like design, engineering schematics of like potential labs, theoretical labs, things like that, stuff that could be deep space, stuff that could be orbital, stuff that can be, smaller and focused on specific things. And between the scans you're getting and the info you're looking at, what you think you've stumbled across is some kind of Hyperdyne Black Project lab, the specific purpose of which you're unsure.
Is it like Deep Space Nine sized? Is it
No.
like there's a death ray attached to said object?
With 2 successes, you cannot determine, unfortunately, whether like the second success is enough to give you info on the weapons. It was just enough to be able to kind of identify what it is. Size-wise, though, you would say it's Not as big as Deep Space Nine. No. It's like maybe the size of like, the Defiant, if we're using Star Trek terms.
Okay. I see what you
Okay.
did there.
Yeah. So,
So Jeff, are we able to do like a roll to try to like decode the messages, try to like intercept the messages,
yeah, sure.
like, if they're like encrypted or not or whatever?
I would ask for somebody else to do that though, as like Ripper is very carefully on the sensor. On the sensor is kind of trying to pick up as much as she can about the station. If somebody else wants to tackle that, for sure.
Anyone else have decent comp tech?
It's also Comtech, yeah.
Not me.
I can assist in such an endeavor.
I mean, I could throw 4 dice at it if that's what we want to do.
That's
I-
double me.
And I can order you to do it?
You should do that.
You can push.
Oh,
I'm so
Okay.
good at being in charge.
here we go. A success. You know what? Let's do a push.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, 2 total. Okay, so
that.
what would you want to know? How about that? You got 2 successes, so just do those question things. Like, what kind of information would you want to glean if you're
So
able to
what's-
decode a message or 2?
So I'm specifically trying to decode messages.
Yeah, like you guys are picking up these other signals that are being routed out to this station from places other than Hyperdyne. So and they seem encrypted, but you have
Yeah.
basically 2 questions that you can get answers to. What
Okay.
would you want to know?
So we know that they're coming here. So my first thing would be to try and figure out a rough idea of point of origin.
Okay.
Mhm.
So one of the all right, one of the signals, I'll give you one of those, is anchor point station. Very recognizable coordinates, so it's
Oh.
easy to pick up, and you know kind of the carrier wave data that you would expect to see. I'm using
Yeah.
techno jargon. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but you would be able to recognize it as anchor point station. So that's one of your 2 successes.
What kind of information is being conveyed here?
Oh, okay. Okay. The data that seems to be coming, it doesn't identify who sent it, but the data seems to be sort of trade route or import export, stuff coming in and stuff going out of Anchor Point Station. It's a fairly big trade hub, and so you're getting like these huge lists from multiple companies. So Bionational, Weyland Yutani, others as well. Somebody has tapped into like essentially all of the info about what's coming in and what's going through Anchor Point Station. It's a lot of info. Like it's not the most, it's not the sexiest thing in the world, but you probably would put it together like this. Like if someone had this information, that could help piracy, that could help with like, there's like so much that can be done with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So what would you guys like to do? So far, there's nothing, like as you've gotten a little bit closer, there's no clear, like your ship is built for kind of stealth, but it doesn't look like they've detected it, or at least if they have, they've done nothing to react to it.
Can we do kind of a broad sweep of the area just to
Okay.
make sure that there's no defensive other stealth ship out there?
Okay. Go ahead and roll command. And then I'll say if anybody wants to roll a piloting test, or this is just to sort of see if you can identify. I'll say piloting, ranged combat, or observation. One of those 3 to try to see if you can identify defenses, weaponry, that kind of thing. Whatever you think.
Am I still too wrapped up to help?
Yeah, I think you're basically tasked with sensor data.
Abbott, Claymore, can one of you observe or
Right.
something?
I'll roll a ranged combat if that's an option.
Yeah, depending on what you roll, I might give you slightly different info, but like, yeah, based on the skill.
Would you like some assistance?
No.
Yes, please. Work together.
Okay, she says yes, so yes.
Fantastic.
I don't like it.
Let me help you keep an eye out.
So is that like a +1?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Claymore, it's basic math. 4 eyes are better than 2.
I don't do math, ma'am.
Okay, 2.
2.
You notice that there, I would say, as you're kind of pouring over some long distance visual scanning, as you're still, a ways away, like, it's space. So like we deal in kilometers and like at the closest bit, unless you're getting in coupling for dock. But you notice that there are 2 large railguns. The specific, the specific brand or specific kind of capability of it, you're not sure. But you can definitely, because again, this is like the range. If piloting would have been the ideal role, in this case, they're railguns, and they're fairly large. And it seems that this ship is kind of think of it just like a kind of an elongated eye, like a capital I with like the serifs at the top and the bottom. And there seems to be like rail guns at both the top and the bottom. These very large ones. Does seem to have defenses.
They've got some big fucking guns, ma'am. I see at least 2 rail guns. One over there. One over there.
Oh, goodness. That's going to be problematic.
We can just trust Enforcer to fly us in there. We'll all put our fingers up here and we'll say we're ninjas and we'll be fine. They'll never see us coming.
Yeah, no problem, ma'am. I can do that. No problem. You can trust me.
Happy to see that everyone is starting to put some faith in our pilot here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm happy too.
I mean, he was willing to shoot Cinders. That makes him okay in my book.
You see like he's got this like big smile and he's like kind of looking around and then his eyes fall on Abbott and he's like,
oh no, Abbott's coming right for me. Get him.
he feels like this sense of guilt, like, oh, I probably shouldn't celebrate too much killing Cinders.
No, you did as was expected of you.
There are no judgments there. I would have killed them too. In fact, I think I did. I cannot remember. As I looked over to Claymore with a smirk.
Yeah, you did. Best thing you've ever done. Second best.
What was the first best?
We still have a Master Sergeant.
Fair point.
Is there any other information that we want to gather before our approach?
Okay.
No.
Go ahead and roll command on him again. Again, the strength of your command is the strength of his piloting roll.
Got it.
I prefer having the rolls in the hands of players. Okay. You want to push?
Yes, and I can actually, because of influence, I can push twice if needed.
Ooh.
Wait, what happened?
It was me. Sorry.
So I didn't push?
Oh, that was a private roll. Just hit push.
Oh, I will push another time.
Okay. I think. All right. Total of 2. Okay.
Yeah.
2 successes. Okay. So your ship gets, banking on your ship's stealth capabilities. Effectively, you get within a range, a very, very, the equivalent of short range. Like if we were doing like actual combat, right? Like you guys are very, very close at this point, to the point where you can kind of actually find portholes, peek out, see things. The data starts coming in pretty freely at this point, Ripper, and you can tell that there seems to be 2 docking ports, one kind of at the bottom by one of the railguns and one at the top. So there's 2 places where the ship could potentially dock. You don't see any other vessels that are docked at this point. It's probably the equivalent of your ship times about 5 in size, because your ship's not that big. You can tell at the core, like there's sort of a kind of a ring that's around the core, but otherwise it's just like a kind of a tall eye. The railguns do not seem to detect your approach, or at least they do not turn and shoot you as you kind of drift past. But you,
Always good.
it seems to be intact. It seems to be under power, as from what you can tell.
And we do not see an Asteria docked to either of the docking.
You don't see any ship attached to it. It's just this ship floating in the dark out here in space between systems. No one can hear you scream.
I know, and we can't even like message anyone our screams either for them to hear it later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like maybe hundreds of years from now, someone picks up the random signal. I wonder what that was about. What do you want to do?
So just to confirm, the area where we can dock at the top doesn't have the railgun next to it?
There's a railgun on top and bottom.
Yeah, there's basically a docking port both sides by a railgun. Yeah.
Oh, darn. I would hope one of them didn't. Never mind. I have no good suggestions then.
Well, those railguns are usually fixed. They don't move on their own. So if they're wanting to shoot us, they'd have to move the station probably. Am I right in that, Jeff?
They are kind of they have a limited radius, but they do have a radius. They can be aimed in different directions, but it is very limited. Yeah.
So we stay out of their kill zone, and then once we get up close enough, we should be safe from getting hit. And then we go investigate, and maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea when you're in there to try and disable whichever one we're on the side of. That way we can make a clean getaway in case we're caught.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It's the getting in part's easy. The getting out is probably harder.
Right. All right.
Especially for running.
All right.
Okay. Couple questions, so you can kind of just tell me exactly what you want to do. Are you looking to couple, like actually take the ship and use the umbilical to connect to the ship or to the station? Are you looking to spacewalk across, which is dangerous as hell, but like you could do it? It's up to you. So what would you like to do?
Well, it's dangerous either way. I mean, docking is going to provide them with notice. I'm sure they get notifications when a ship docks with them. So that's also problematic. I was sort of hoping that once we were out here, we might find the other ship and find some extra supports to help us take this station over, so it wasn't just us. But
yeah, the last you saw though, the probably the working theory right now is that somehow the synths overtook the ship, since they were able to at least take out about half of the Colonial Marine Marshal contingent that came to Planetfall, and then they were able to ride, like the synths were able to ride back on kind of the commandeered dropships to get back into the ship. So you're kind of working on the theory that you guys might have lost control of this area, which is a frightening proposition.
it is. Everybody up for a spacewalk?
That is affirmative.
Close.
Okay.
Great last time. I don't see why it won't go great this time.
Definitely hoping for a better outcome then.
Yeah.
Hutch is in the hallway, gives you a thumbs up with his synthetic arm, but it's like shaking and it's not quite working right.
This time you'll get a robot ass.
Okay. So guys suit up. So are you gonna? So I didn't get a clear answer. Are you umbilical? Are you using the umbilical, or are you just jumping and going?
I think we're going spacewalk.
Okay.
Yes. Do we have any sort of So we have stealth technology on the ship. Is there any stealth technology on us jumping out into space?
You do not have personal cloaking devices. And thank you for that sub there, Matt. Appreciate it, man. No, you don't have personal cloaking devices, no.
Really get those ordered.
Yeah, that's...
Just wrap yourself in tinfoil.
Yeah.
I heard this works.
Saran wrap it.
I heard this works. Okay, so you all pop into your suits. Abbott, are you going suitless or are you putting a suit on?
I may as well put a suit on
Okay.
in case one of them gets a hole in theirs before I do.
Okay. All right, so the 5 of you get over. You work on... your pilot is able to get kind of a sort of a stable pattern to be within some proximity of it. Maybe you all kind of clip on. You have your own little tethers that go back to the ship. Maybe you get those little seats that give you those tiny little like rocket pushing thing here and there. And eventually, you make it across, or you make it out. Everyone roll a mobility test though. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if anyone drifts off into the middle of space. Okay. Oh boy. Bye, Koenig. You shouldn't have oh wait, you pushed. That's right. You pushed your thing.
Yeah, I pushed earlier.
If only your intestines were still hanging out, we could use them to grab you.
If anybody has extra successes, you can loan that success to somebody who failed.
Do we just need the one?
You just need one to get across without issue. And if okay. So you can give one to either Koenig or Abbott. So I imagine Koenig, knowing Claymore.
Koenig.
Oh, thanks for the catch. I was
I'm sorry, Adam.
Floating away.
But does that mean that Abbott can't reroll?
No, Abbott cannot.
No, but
Koenig
you
could
can.
Reroll.
You can, Barrett, and so can Ripper if you want to get more successes.
Yeah, there's that. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Now I have to.
Easy peasy.
Whew.
And so as you all kind of leap across, detach yourselves from the tether, kind of keeping you to the ship, you notice as not everyone's going in sort of the same direction, as there's been some slight bumping that sort of shifts two people as both Abbott and Koenig kind of bump into one another. Claymore is able to quickly reach out and grab Koenig and kind of hurl him in, and then Barrett kind of does a fancy little push off of Claymore's back and is able to launch off and get Abbott and kind of bring him back into the correct order. You all slam against the side of this station. You are equidistant between the dock, the actual docking port. And so if you were to kind of climb down the station, you could go into the docking port. If you were to climb back up and over the rim, you could get up to the rail gun. What's the plan? I'm presuming you all are on comms as well.
I can go towards the rail gun and see if I can work on disabling it.
Do we want to do that now and possibly, show our hands that we're here? Or do we want to go in and do a little reconnaissance? The only catch was that is if we need to make a quick getaway, then we don't have the railgun disabled.
That's what I was thinking, is like assuming the worst, that we're going to be running and getting away, that having it disabled now might be.
Well, I'll keep an eye on you while you go up there, Ripper.
I
Okay. So Ripper, is anyone going with Ripper, or is she going up there by herself?
I might join because I mean, just in case maybe we need to rip something or jam something. Heavy machinery might help out.
Explosion, yeah.
Give us a couple of different angles to work it.
Okay. So the two of you find, proper handholds, footholds and stuff, and you're able to start launching yourselves up the side of this, kind of drifting out underneath like the rim of the top part of the ship and like loop up and around. Koenig, you said you were kind of keeping an eye out on people. Go ahead and roll observation.
Sure thing. I'll push that, see if I can get some more success on there. All right.
All right, 2 successes.
Two?
Yeah. Oh, 3 successes. Sorry, 3 successes. So 3 things.
Nice.
First, you notice that the ship has, the station has a lot of damage. There are huge chunks of it that are open to space. You also notice that there's plenty of light and stuff on. There's certain like windows and things that come out the station you can actually see are under power here or there. Second thing, you notice that about I would say 50 meters from you, you see something crawling around on the outside of the ship or outside of the station. Third success, you would notice that the docking port itself does in fact also appear to be damaged, and the exterior, not bulkhead, but the exterior door appears to have suffered explosive decompression. The interior door looks to be intact, but the exterior door, so meaning if you open this up, the likelihood that first kind of hallway that you go in will be either, if it's currently under atmosphere, it'd be vented out, or if it's not under atmosphere, it's obviously not going to have any oxygen, not going to have any gravity or anything like that.
Okay. I'll definitely relay that, but I think the most important part right now is the fact that Sergeant, I'm picking up movement out here.
All right, let's keep our weapons in that direction.
Can I get any kind of, like using the scope on my rifle, any kind of idea on what is moving, or is it too obscured or moved out of sight or something?
Let's see. To observation. How about you would notice that the movement doesn't seem to be with your scope, because I was assuming like your scope is probably what you were looking down when you did the observation check to begin with. I'll say the movement actually looks to be similar to you all in that you're kind of crawling and it's inconsistent. You think there's somebody else out here. Let's just put it that way. There's somebody else out here.
Okay. I'll relay that information then.
Like a human? Tony, you think
Looks
there's a
like
human out here?
Could be a person, maybe a synth doing repairs on the outside. That would be my guess. I really doubt that we've got another Marine crawling around on the outside of this rock.
That would be too good of a luck for us.
Can we try to get the ship to help us out with this observation? Like, can they maneuver to where we can
call back
get a better idea?
Okay.
That might be risky if we don't have that railgun down yet.
If you want the ship to do anything,
first.
I'll say if you want the ship to do anything, we'll make it a command roll. Whoever wants to try to send a command, so if there's something you want to do the ship for now, that's what we'll say is like a command roll. We'll handle that. Okay, so if we go over to the railgun area, you guys come up to the sort of this platformed area. There's several. You notice right along the center of this large platform. You can look like there looks to be this retractable, extendable device. The railgun itself is enormous. It's like the size of like half a football field in diameter, and you can like in terms of this platform that looks to be rotational, and it also seems to kind of extend and retract. Like if it was deployed, it probably extends. And the reason being is like surrounding it are all these various antenna array. Some of them are kind of circular, some of them are dish shaped, some of them actual or damaged, some of them are intact. But looks like the turret kind of extends outward from it. Currently it's retracted, so it doesn't seem to be active. So why don't the two of you roll observation, or somebody assist the other in rolling observation, whichever you prefer.
Do you want me to roll it?
Not great at it. I'm glad to assist.
Okay.
So take a +1 then if you're doing it. Okay.
You're
right.
so much better at this than me.
Yeah, you know that most likely it's a good thing that Claymore came with you, because it looks like any kind of like software control, like anything you could potentially do to hack into this and mess with it, are probably inside. There's probably a weapons console somewhere inside. But You do notice that where like the extractable and like the retractable extendable section is, like Claymore could potentially cause some issues there, so that if they wanted to deploy it, they might have some kind of damage done to that system. So if Claymore wants to roll a heavy machinery, you could potentially try to just like kind of rip some gears and some levers and beans and things like that. See what you can do as you just sort of dig into some of the paneling here. See what you do.
Look at me, I'm almost an engineer.
So you start ripping off. This is all taking a little bit of time. This isn't like instantaneous, but like you're ripping off various paneling and stuff like that you know protects important pieces that could, like the manual control of certain things that allow for rotation, that allow for extension, and you're just going through and you're ripping all the pneumatics out. That's in the hydraulics. That's basically what you're doing, and you're seeing like various liquids start to bubble out into space, kind of gets on your suits a little bit as you are just ripping and ripping and ripping through. Whether or not this is going to be something that's immediately detected, you're not sure. If someone is actively on the weapons console, they'll probably see an error, but if they're not actively on it, they might not notice it right away.
Strategic.
This is fun.
So while that's happening, do the three of you want to do anything else along the side of the station?
Just trying to stay out of eyeshot of this little crab walking person thingy and see if they get any closer, what they're doing.
Okay.
If you'd like, I could go and investigate.
I think we still have stealth as our advantage right now. So I wouldn't want you to stray too far from our hiding in the shadows at the moment.
Very well then.
I am going to ask you, though, to roll mobility, but if you're sticking together and just hiding here, only one person, like I think it's like the worst person has to roll mobility.
I've got 4.
I've got 4.
Koenig, how are you with
Koenig?
mobility?
Mobility, I'm decent at it. Let's take a look.
I've got 4 and 4 stress, so I might be rolling more.
I'll be hitting it 8 on that with 2 stress.
Adam, I think that's you.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is just to maintain like kind of a position. Now, it's not like a smooth side of the station, right? There's plenty of like there's plenty of places like little nooks and crannies. There's ripped portions of the station itself that you can kind of find some kind of, you know, hidden portion. You are a little concerned maybe that the ship, so if there is a person out there, if anyone happens to just turn around and look, they might see a ship out here. It is possible. You did get your ship quite close, so it's a question of what you want to do with it. But other than that, you kind of stay in a relatively stealth position, and then after probably about 20 or 30 minutes, you get Claymore on the horn, and you hear him like kind of cheering in his usual way of success. And so you think you've done everything you can to the railgun out here. So what do you want to do now?
Barrett will turn to Koenig and just ask, should we have Louis back up, or should we just call it a success that he made it this far without getting seen? Because we potentially have prying eyes crawling out the outside over there.
Yeah, I would hate to risk giving away any more of our position.
Just leave it where it's at. Hope
Yeah.
for the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So are you going in?
That's the
Wow.
plan.
Okay. So like I said, the exterior door is destroyed, but the interior door is intact. You can try to hack into this. So Ripper could roll a comm check, or Claymore could just rip it open. From what you could tell, there's a dark corridor on the other side of this. It's unclear just from looking at it whether it's under atmosphere or not. How do you want to get in?
Ripper, let's try this the Comtech way, and we can always fall back to Claymore if we need.
Okay, sounds
So you
good.
think. fairly easy, not too difficult. With 2 successes, you're fairly confident you're able to do this not only successfully, but in a way that might not be detected.
Detectable. Yes.
As long as the other side of this isn't under atmosphere and there's a sudden decompression. But you hope. We'll see as you.
Oh, that.
Okay.
Have that.
So you manage to mess with it, and all of a sudden you hear the sound, or you can see the sound, I should say, of the actual door kind of rolling open. Nothing gets rushed out at you, and so you're pretty sure the corridor itself was already not under atmosphere. It's incredibly dark. There's no lights on the inside other than what you're bringing, but it's entirely dark. Nothing seems to be floating about. I'm sure some of you have lights on you probably turned that when you were stealthing, you probably kept them off, and when you were working on the railgun, you probably had them on. Inside, as you go into the corridor, you pop them on, and you can see that this corridor is about 20 feet, and then it comes to a doorway. 3 of them, actually. One's going straight, and one seems to be a hatch that goes up towards the railgun, and one seems to be a hatch that goes down, but there also is one that just kind of goes further. And when I say door, basically what you're looking at every time are circular kind of optical doorways. You're getting the sense this is old. Like, this doesn't seem to be like recent design. Like, this is there's something here that suggests that this could be decades old.
So it's so it's up, down, or straight ahead?
Yep. And you're basically, you're at the top of the stations. You can go up, which you think would probably take you to like weapons control. You can go through, which will take you deeper into like the cylinder of the station, or you can go down, which would take you down levels. So it's up to you.
So I have an idea here.
What's that?
I'm not sure if it's good yet, but we seal off these 2 hatches up and down for now. I'm sure one of us has a cutting torch. Fuse it shut.
Affirmative.
And then we continue straight ahead. Explore this level. That way we don't have to worry about someone coming up behind us.
I can appreciate the tactic there. We might need to come out and wish we hadn't done that, but for now I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, when we decide we want to take one of these, we're going to have to spend some more time with the torch, cutting it free.
Abbott, can you make that happen?
You wish for me to seal this door?
Seal the hatch going up and the hatch going down.
Ah, but not the main door.
Not the main door, correct.
I pull out my cutting torch and get to work.
Okay, fair enough. Roll heavy machinery. That's what it sounds like to me.
Can I do a command to help with that?
Of course, you can always do it.
That's 3 command?
Ooh.
So that's 3 dice. Is that the way it works?
Are you pulling on your talent, Melissa? Isn't there a talent that you have? Something like that?
Just basic command.
Mm-hmm.
When using give orders, for every success you roll, the recipient of your orders gains +1 modification to their roll.
So you get
sweet.
+3. So it's not all the successes, but it's 3 dice. Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick.
You seal that shit up tight. Not only that, but like, it doesn't even look like it's sealed. It's like such a precise welding. Go ahead. What you
I
got?
think there's something in the stunts in the book that's like, I don't need to roll again for this.
I think that's correct. And
Sort of
not only
thing.
that, I'm going to go back to like the Mutineer Zero stuff where it's just like, you also impress people. So even Claymore, I got to say, has got to be impressed with this job. Begrudgingly.
And I make the welds look like they're braided.
That's
You
impressive.
spell your name out in the world.
Nobody likes to
Yeah.
show off.
A+C.
Well, sometimes people like to show off.
I like it that one of the stunts literally is you show off.
Yes. Okay. So it's a very narrow corridor. At best, you could probably do 2 by 2. But only one person obviously can go through the door at once, can go through the portal at once. So as you open the kind of interior door, who's going in first? I'm just gonna, in general, I'm not trying to trick anybody. Just in general, we're gonna do the whole like marching order thing just to be sure, like I don't want to just say like, oh, what, I'm only gonna ask that if it matters. I'm just gonna always ask it. I'm just gonna always ask.
We don't know.
So you don't know.
Tricks on us.
I think it's fair to assume, unless there's some reason not to, Claymore's usually in the front.
I think that's fair. That makes sense.
I will remain in the rear.
Okay, Abbott in the back.
I can take behind Claymore, seeing as we're missing Spuds or.
Okay.
I'll take third.
I think knowing who's in front, knowing who's in back is probably the most important thing. The other 3, we can kind of intermix it, which is fine.
Number 4 it is.
Okay. Claymore, you do you have your light on when you open the door, or do you guys open the door under darkness? I like asking questions like this. It's like leading the witness.
I mean, our night vision's already shot, so that's up to you, Claymore.
Whatever you want, ma'am. I'll do it however you like. I'm not going to be able to see anything without the light on, though. So maybe I just open the door, close my eyes, hope nothing hits me, and if I don't get hit as soon as I open it, then I turn the light on.
Works for me.
Okay, I put up the shield, I open the door, I close my eyes, and I hope I don't get hit.
Okay, the light was on.
Oh,
you said?
Damn it.
Okay, you open the
Light
door.
was off, right?
Okay. Lights off. You open the door. Dark corridor out in front of you with no lights. You can't really see what's in there. Nothing comes whooshing out at you. Actually, I'm sorry. You guys went into the main one, right? It does decompress. So all of you feel atmosphere just come rushing out at you. Everyone go ahead and make a mobility roll.
Oh, crap.
God damn it.
Sorry. All right. Did anyone fail? If you passed, you're fine. It just means you're able to grab the side of something or somebody else and you don't go flying past. But if you failed, you might take damage here.
I didn't fail, but after
I pass. Yeah, and stress.
Okay. Everyone take 2 stress. Everyone
I got
around.
a nervous twitch, so everybody has to roll.
Same with Koenig. Both the leadership. Once again, leadership just falling apart.
So everybody takes 2 stress and rolls panic?
No, you don't. I don't think you have to roll panic. I think you just take the stress. That's something Adam figured out a while back. So
Okay,
Ripper,
so
Claymore, Adam, or Ripper and Claymore take 2 stress. Barrett and Koenig, you would both each take 1 because you just take 1 from the other person.
And we did get 300 bits earlier, so I think at this point I might use one of those to clear stress.
Okay, go ahead. I think that was Karayan, right?
Yep.
I think he threw us. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say those 1,000 bits could be used for something, but they were already used for me to sing, and so
Yeah.
those don't go towards anything else.
Bits well spent.
So is it like 100 for 1 stress? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think that's what we were doing. You use a heal. You use them to heal a point of stress.
There
Oh,
you
just
go.
100
Aw.
for 1 each.
Yeah, man, this is
Okay,
alien.
Sorry.
This is hardcore. He threw another 300 out. So
Yeah.
there's 5 stress heals right now.
Yes.
Or is anyone else taking any more?
I was gonna take a second, but that still leave us with 4.
And I took 1.
Koenig took 1, so you're down to 4.
You're not looking very well. I did restock on nap relief. You need some
Yes, thank you.
right now.
Sure.
Okay, I give her a shot of nap relief.
All right, and then we've got 4 rerolls. And now I don't have stress anymore. Thank you.
Actually, Captain Cryan brings up a good point. I just double checked it with the bits. 100. So the rule is 100 bits recovers a point of stress for all players.
Woohoo!
Oh,
So there you go. Good catch, Cryan. Okay. So let's get back to this. So go ahead and, Melissa, keep track of this stuff. But the door opens. You just get this sudden flooding of atmosphere at you as this room was under atmo, and now it kind of explodes out. You all manage to grab hold of something. Incredibly dark. You guys can't see, by the way. All of you had your lights off. Claymore, as you look into the room, you can't tell exactly what you're looking at. But you do see, as you're watching, this red light just kind of moving at a very sort of far end of the room. And at some point you can't see it, and then suddenly you can. And then you hear as a sentry turret in oversight position starts firing. And since Claymore's out in front, he is the one that it's going to fire upon. This is 8d6.
Here we go.
So no successes, however. So as the sentry gun fires from the other side of this corridor, this room, you can see like this laser sight, this sort of tracking movement, sees you open the door, sees that movement on the other end with whatever kind of sight it has, and it just starts firing. You manage to maybe pull your shield up, maybe you close the door, whatever it might be, but you can feel the maybe you keep the doors partially closed, and as you do, and like you're no longer in the middle of the doorway, you can kind of listen or feel the door, and you don't feel any more bullets hitting it as it kind of dies back down. What do you want to do with that?
Lights on, take a shot. It's the thing to do.
Good with that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give orders as a fast action now that I have field commander. Take up position so that we can open the door with lights on and take that out quickly.
Okay, so you keep you're gonna put your lights back on, throw the door back open.
Shoot at it.
Okay, and everyone. Okay, now
is there anything that we can like take cover behind in this? Are there like any like?
Yeah, the sides of like I've been doing some reading into the rules of Alien. There are things called like rooms have conditions, and those conditions affect certain things. So if you go into a room that has the condition of darkness, that's going to affect like your ability to do it. You get negative penalties to like doing like range combat and stuff like that. If you go into a thing that's cluttered, you have to use like mobility to get across, or you fall prone, that kind of thing. If it's cramped, which this isn't cramped, so that's more like if you're going through a vent, it's impossible for all of you to shoot over top of one another. So in this particular case, I'm going to say, because I said specifically that that it's like a 2x2, I'm going to say 2 of you can get shots off at this thing when the door opens up. One of those obviously will be Claymore. Who would you want the second one to be?
Let me take that shot.
You got it, Koenig.
Okay. So Koenig, Claymore, the door opens up, lights are on. You see a cluttered corridor that's a little bit wider than the one you're in, and you can see that there's all sorts of debris and crates that have been thrown about because of the sudden decompression. Not only that, but as the door comes open, you can see something just immediately duck out of vision as you see like the tail end of something. You're not sure if it was a leg, a limb, or whatever, because you're focusing down on the gun at the far end of the corridor, right? But you see something move in the short term, and it's like hiding behind what looks like a pile of debris in the corridor itself. Both of you go ahead and take that shot.
What was that?
Let me do my command.
Okay.
I did the wrong thing. I should have used the actual gun. So
Oh gosh darn it.
If you want, you can. If you want, and you rolled well, so keep those and just add
yeah,
the
I'll keep that.
Just roll the bonus for the gun itself, because that's the only thing I'm going to be missing. So check the gun, see how many more dice you would have rolled, and then just roll those separate, and it's fine.
And I'll push as well.
Okay.
What is that?
It's like a total of 4 successes.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm ruling that this is going to have some cover, as it's a very cluttered hallway. So it's going to get basically some armor here. I'm going to roll against both of your shots. Against Jeremy's, not a damn thing. And then against Chuck's, Chuck, I deflect 1 point of damage from your shot. So what's the total damage between the two of you?
I put 5 on.
Okay.
So pulse rifle is a base of 2, and then I think I had 3 successes, so 4.
So 5 and 4. All right. So you guys come in. You flow the door open. Both of you have your guns trained. Lights go on. You suddenly see this corridor. You realize it's a much more difficult shot than you thought it was going to be. You unload on this thing. As you're unloading it, you hear as it fires down the hallway at you again, because this is basically all happening simultaneously. And so it's going to be, I think it's 8d6. So, and this is, and I miss again. Jesus, you guys, this thing hits nothing. But as you guys tear into this thing, standing there in the doorway, these things, it could have hit you. You're doing your best to kind of, on the sort of the frame of the door, trying to use that to sort of shield you a little bit from the fire. And you can see the bullet just embed right into the other side of the wall, like as you're standing in the doorway itself. And between the two of you, the thing just, and it explodes and falls down at the other end of the corridor.
Having seen something, can I pivot around to try and get line of sight on whatever movement we think we saw?
Okay. Roll observation.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm not going to push that one.
Okay. You couldn't get a good sign of it. I mean, everything was happening so fast. You were focusing on the sentry gun. Timing was everything. You didn't get a good look at it. Claymore, it's only fair that I give you the opportunity if you wanted to roll that as well.
Okay. Busy checking myself for holes.
Just gonna let that
observation.
one go. There you go. What? Only 2 dice? This is where you excel. What's wrong with Claymore? All right.
Sergeant, I thought I saw additional movement, but it's long gone, it looks like.
Okay. As far as you can tell, this next corridor widens. You can see what looks like a series of old broken consoles that have taken some of the spray fire from your weaponry that are flanked along the sides. It looks like there's also some pipes running through the tops of the ceilings that kind of bend off in the different directions. And probably about 10 to 15 feet in, behind what looks like a pile of debris, is where you saw the movement. But you don't see anything else. And since you have your helmets on, you can't necessarily rely on hearing either.
Kick my light on and approach that area.
Okay. You move up, get your gun out, trained, ready to go. You swerve around, point down, looking at where you thought you saw the thing, and you see a vent has been thrown open. Vent's probably 3.5 by 3.5 or so, give or take. You can see on the ground a few feet away, the actual covering has been ripped off. Maybe it was always ripped off, but there is a vent here that's open. You look down, you don't see any signs of like blood, so it doesn't look like you hit anything, synth or red blood, or not that you all necessarily know this, or acid blood. So no types of blood on the ground whatsoever.
None.
Nothing there.
How bad is this grate cover?
It looks like it's been bent in some way. Like you could set it on there, but it's probably someone's got to push it back. It's not going to fit.
Here's what I'm thinking. Claymore, use some of that muscle, flatten this thing out. Abbott, use that torch and weld it shut. We got a synth running around these vents. We can need to put as much obstacle between it and our ass.
Sounds like a good plan. Fig, but you can shove a square peg in a round hole. It's me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just roll strength. Just roll straight strength. As long as you don't fail, it's done.
Okay.
I think the only reason I'm making him roll is because it'd be funny if he did fail. Yeah. You managed to straighten it out. And you hand it over to Abbott. Abbott, really quick. And the vent is now sealed with the vent cover, which is not like in itself the strongest piece of metal to begin with. But you can see
very impressive work, Claymore.
So you can see that
do any more of that A+C nonsense.
No, it doesn't need to be done again. It already has been done. It is solidified in the metal.
And so you see at the end of the corridor, there. I just want to make sure I stepped on y'all twice. You can see where the gun lays now in shambles on the ground, the sentry gun. It's like a T section, so it looks like there's a turn to the right and a turn to the left.
What's the plan?
Onward, leftward.
I can get behind that.
Shall I walk backwards?
Does that have a tactical advantage of it?
I would be able to see behind us. Although, without any light, I wouldn't be able to see very far, but I would still be able to see behind us. I could turn my light on if you would like. Or I can go back to what we were doing before.
I would say if you just check behind you every 30 seconds or so, I think that will suffice and you can walk straight forward.
Very well.
Thank you.
Okay. So you move up to the T section. You hang a left, and you see about 8 to 10 feet to the left, after kind of a series of what looks like pressure gauges of some kind, you can see that there is a open door. Also to the right, because you can peek down it, it's symmetrical. You can see the same thing on the other side. The door, in this case, is closed to the right. So T section to the left, kind of a door that's half open. To the right is a door that's pulled closed.
Half open door beckons interest.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So Claymore, you step through, and you see the room opens up for the first time, and you can see that this is an incredibly damaged and cluttered room. Cables, pipes are ripped and pulled down from the ceiling. The ceiling tiles themselves aren't even fully intact. Some of them are on the ground here and there. There's all sorts of these old consoles that you can tell just by looking at them that they haven't really been in sort of commission for years, right? And you can see that there's been this blank space in the middle. This might have been a conference chamber or you're not sure, but there's like a whole mess load of space, and something's being constructed. You can literally see what looks like framework being done of some kind of like central kind of cell or chamber of some kind. And you can see, again, the room is incredibly cluttered. There's stuff all over the place. There's debris everywhere. And there's like machinery that's been long since broken down. But there's a whole mess load of stuff that could be sifted through. So what do you do?
What are they doing here? Were they building some sort of barricade or?
I don't know.
Step forward and take a look. Not that I'm any good at it, but
roll observation.
You can do it. No, you can't.
I have no clue what is going on here. These people are very filthy and very messy.
So, as the doors open and you see, I think it was like Koenig and Barrett and Ripper, you were like the second tier as you watch as Claymore pushes a little bit further into the room away from you all by the door, starts looking around at the structure in the middle, like the framing for it. You notice it like too late to do anything about it, as some of the debris on either side of Claymore suddenly moves. And you can see these figures slowly stand as various pipes and wires fall down from them. And they look like these large, almost Working Joe-like androids, but they have these kind of contraptions that have been riveted kind of into their chest, their torsos, their arms, their legs. You can see that some of their arms themselves have kind of been resituated with some kind of like cutting torch. One of them is carrying this large spanner, and their eyes just light up this what looks like yellowish complexion, which differs significantly from the Working Joe, but their eyes suddenly light, and you see their mouths kind of open up, and just the sound of static comes out as they charge in, and they both, because of your failed observation, get a shot off at Claymore. Sorry, Jeremy.
Do we take any stress from seeing this shit?
If it's a monster we haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's something you haven't seen before. Everyone take a point of stress. It is a yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
You're welcome. I want to
Agent
make sure we go
Chaos
out
over there.
in a blaze of glory.
Okay.
I
So
miss
the
our
one of
forward
them
observer.
one of them comes over at Claymore with this huge spanner that it lifts up, and as its mouth is open, brings it down over top on you with the blunt instrument. And I'm going to go ahead and give this like a slight... Let's see if I can. All right. How did I do? Did you guys see that?
Nope, it was private.
Why is that private? It should be public. It's weird. Okay. Go ahead and roll armor.
Okay.
So
are
he
they
takes a
within-
hit.
Are they within short range of me?
No, you were in the back.
Dang.
So you would have to push through the two of them. And so since you took up the back, if you were one of the others, I would probably give it to you. But in this case, you would have to push past.
What
okay.
about me?
Do you have the bodyguard talent?
Yes, I sure do.
Do you want to do that for Claymore?
Yeah,
He is the beefiest and tankiest of everybody.
I gotta make sure he stays alive.
Okay, go ahead and do it. Yeah, for sure.
That's some heroics.
Crap.
Okay.
It's success.
So you go stumbling into the room. So by the way, during moving about in this room, because it's cluttered, everybody has to roll a mobility test to be able to move around without falling over. I'm gonna waive it for here. So I'm not gonna say this. I'm gonna say this mobility test is specifically to jump out of the way. And so you dive in front of him and try to like maybe hold up your arm or a weapon to try to brace. You can go ahead and now roll armor.
Oh
If
my
the
God,
room is
no.
cluttered, then
So-
it means we can jump behind things for cover, right?
That's true. Ripper, go ahead and
pros and
roll
cons?
armor.
Just click on armor, right?
Just click on armor. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have your armor equipped?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's
definitely
equipped. It's active.
and it's not rolling.
I'm pressing it so hard.
I guess that means you
Press the mouse
fail,
button
right? I guess
harder.
that just means you fail. Let's see. There it goes.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
You take 1 point of damage. You're able to absorb the other as this huge wrench just comes slamming down and it kind of pushes into your... So you take 1 point of damage from this. The other one, you can see as they move towards Claymore, you turn to try to protect yourself from this one with this huge spanner coming down. You see just like a blaze of like white lightning coming out of the side as Ripper steps in front and kind of blocks the damage that was meant for you. But then you turn and you can see this torch, this sort of blue torch starts to kick out from the extension of this arm of this android, and they're going to attempt an attack on you as well.
Oh boy.
So this is going to be the cutting torch weapon. I don't know why it's private. It shouldn't be. Go ahead and roll damage, Claymore, or armor. Excuse me. I have everything set to public. Okay.
Wow.
You're good. As you hold the shield up, you block all of the damage as the cutting torch just... You, maybe in the back of your mind, maybe you get a little angry because the cutting torch is now cutting through some of those marks that you do, where you kind of keep track of things. It's...
And it
That's
goes
enough
into
of your
music.
history.
I think it's time to go into initiative. at this point. Because this is all happening so fast. All right, so
Rage.
go ahead and put that one on the...
Oh man.
Oh dear.
I should also note that... Who is this? Who's in the back? It's Abbott. Abbott.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's 3.
You, as you're looking behind, you can see the door that was closed. You can see the big wheel that keeps it as it suddenly starts spinning. As the door on the other side of the T section, you guys went left, the door on the right side begins to spin open. So who's not in the fight? It's not going to be... See, Spuds isn't here. So it's going to be...
Master Sergeant Barrett, we have company coming through that door.
I hope they brought some tea, because this is about to be bad.
Shall I
hang on a
stop
sec.
the door from opening?
That would be great.
Ignore... I don't know why it started there. All right, Ripper, you're first up. What do you want to do?
That's a very good question. I'm usually never first.
Well, what a good time.
Am I able to see whatever that is coming through the door?
Roll an observation. No, screw it. I'll just say you're all on comms and Abbott said something.
Okay.
So right now you and Claymore are inside of the left-hand room, which is a fairly big but cluttered room. There's something they're constructing, and you and Claymore are basically like back to back, and each of you is like facing one of these tall, kind of yellow, off-model working Joe androids, right? Then you've got, by the doorway, you've got Barrett and Koenig are probably like either on this side of the doorway or in the middle of the doorway, and then on the opposite side, like back in the T-section room, there's Abbott. So I'm going to assume that everyone's on comms, and they can hear that Abbott's calling out that something's behind as well.
Okay. Since I'm basically in melee range with this big baddie, I guess I'll pull out my VP 70 mag or 70 MA6. So I'm assuming it. Oops. I'm assuming it would be at a negative because I'm at close range.
What kind of weapon
medium.
is this?
VP 70 mag 6 or MA
No, I
6.
I think you're okay. I think that's the, it's got to be that distance or under. If it's over, I believe is where you get.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
then I'm gonna push.
Yeah, you're fine. That's the max range on it, basically.
Oh, I really wanted that one.
Holy crap! There's been some crazy rolls.
Wow.
They're trying to make up for last time.
6.
Okay. You're keeping it together.
Yes.
So as this big wrench comes down, you take your left arm, you just block it, and like this, you can feel it kind of hit against your forearm, and the armor that you're wearing, the suit that you're wearing doesn't absorb everything, and that's going to leave a mark. But then with your right arm, you just pull out the gun and you hold it right up against the torso, and you just fire. Synth blood just begins to explode all over you. However, these are a little different than the things that you've been fighting.
You're not going to say acid, are you?
Oh, no.
It's worse.
I'm not sure what comes first. I'm just gonna roll armor first because these things they have like stuff sutured on top of them. And then this also has what's called the resilient talent. So these things are very tough and sturdy, essentially synthetic roughnecks. Anytime it suffers damage, I can roll strength. I can't push the roll, but for every success, I can reduce the damage. So I'm just going to roll its strength, which is 7. I rolled 1, so it's going to reduce the damage that you did by 1. So the grand total, it looks like you did a total of 6 successes, minus 1. So you did 5 damage to this thing. As a huge like hole kind of opens up like right in its torso, but nonetheless, it stays standing and has not fallen over, but there's this huge pile of trash that's now just covered and soaked by this synthetic blood.
You never looked so cool, Ripper.
That was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
Next up is the cutting torch one.
Oh no.
So the cutting torch one will go ahead and keep going for Claymore. No reason for it to stop what it's doing, right? I believe that's... Let me check its inventory. If there's anything else it would want to do. I do have to roll power technically, but it wasn't going to go out. It's probably never going to go out. It's probably going to be dead before it goes out. So let me roll again. I have no idea why it's rolling those things privately, but why don't you go ahead and roll your armor.
Okay, if it did connect, can I do my reaction, so to speak, to try and parry or to basically roll close combat?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if this qualifies as a melee attack. I can try to like...
It does need... This cutting torch needs to be used in melee, so yeah.
All right, well then I'm going to try to...
It's an engaged range. I got 3 successes on mine.
Okay, well I prevented 2.
Okay.
And then I'll do some armor.
All right, go for it. So it's gonna, you see as it's gonna push your shield kind of back at you. You stumble a bit, bounce a little bit into Ripper. Shield goes awry, and it does manage to, at the last second, cut through your chest as your shield comes free. And you're actually going to take 2 points of damage. The cutting torch base damage is 3, and so your armor is going to block one of them. You managed to, with your 2 successes, you cut out 2 of my successes. Then your armor reduces the damage down to 2. So 2 points of damage to you.
All right.
All right. Next up is going to be one of the ones in the other room. And it's going to spend its turn opening the door, continuing to spin, and then it's going to push the door open. And so, Abbott, you can see that the door is open, and you can see standing in the doorway is another one of these synthetics, this kind of yellow, kind of golden skin synthetics, as it's just kind of, so you see it standing right there with the door open. You also see a second one right next to it, which will now step through the door. Will use its fast action to... yeah, it's going to use its fast action to get up to Abbott. And then it'll use its slow action to swing an unarmed attack. As this one just is going to punch. No successes. So it comes up. Abbott, you're quick enough to sort of dodge out of the way as it throws a punch and smashes it against the wall. And you can see the wall where it hit, it just dents it, as these things are quite sturdy. Then it's going to be Koenig's turn.
Do I have line of sight on the one that's attacking Claymore?
Yes. You're firing into ranged, so I would say, like, take like a -1 or something for that, but otherwise you're okay.
Yeah, I'm going to take aim with this. And so with that penalty, I'll be getting a +3 modifier. And I want to go ahead and push that.
Yeah.
What is that? 5 altogether? Is that how it tallies it up?
5.
Wow.
Okay. Base damage at 2. So that would be what, 6 damage?
And you are going for the one that's already been attacked by Ripper, or the one that's attacking Claymore? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'm going for the one that's on Claymore.
Okay, it's the one that's on Claymore.
You could potentially spend the extra on a stunt, like pinning them down or anything like that, if you want to. You don't have to.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stack it all on
anything.
damage.
Okay, so it's going to do roll. I'm going to do its armor, and then the resilient thing. It's going to block one of the damage, basically. So what was it? So your total -1. What was it?
What was it again? That was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 damage altogether.
5 damage altogether. Okay. You take a beautiful shot. You get it right in the neck. You see it just sort of explode half the neck out, but the head it still manages to stay intact, and it doesn't fall.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so that's the one with the cutting torch. Did you do anything with your fast action or anything like that?
No, I took aim, so that was
Okay.
my fast action.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Abbott. One of these just came out the other door and is now in your face. A second one seems to also be wanting to come through. What would you like to do?
There are two. And I take the torch I already had in hand, and I'm just going to put it towards its head.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
You think you have a torch? I also have a torch.
It's gonna turn into like Star Wars now. We're just using cutting torches.
Sounds fun.
Those are
No,
armor
nothing
piercing,
happens.
too.
And I will keep my short action, my fast action, in case I need to defend.
Jeremy, you're gonna have to take another point of damage. Cutting torches are armor piercing.
You're muted.
So next time, remember to push my defense roll. Then.
Yeah. Okay. Then it's gonna be Barrett's turn. Again, you and Ripper and Abbott are actually no, you and Koenig and Abbott are kind of right around the door. Abbott is on the T section side of it. You and Koenig are more sort of the new room side of it. Ripper and Claymore have already gone into the room and are fighting two of them. Abbott behind you is now dueling with one of them, and a fourth seems to be on the other side of that T section.
Okay, so basically what I'm going to do, now that I have, and I forgot the name of it, Field Commander, I can both fast and slow action command people. So I am going to command both Claymore, who's up next, and Ripper, who will be at the top of the round, on their attacks at these.
Nice.
So command for Claymore, 1 success.
What do
So
you
one
say to
extra
him? You can
dice.
push too, can't you?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
I
you
can
wanna
actually
that?
push twice because it's empathy because of my other talent. All right,
So
so
total
2
of 2.
successes.
Okay.
Um,
So what do you say to him to give him his +2?
basically just take him out. You can, because both you and Koenig are on the same one. So.
Okay.
At a
You
loss
can
for
do
anything
it.
particularly inspiring at the moment. Just like get this shit
Okay.
done.
Mama
Okay.
said knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out.
That.
Fantastic.
All right,
And
and so
then
then
to
Ripper
Ripper.
is next. Yeah, so command for her, 3 successes.
What do you say to her?
Shoot it in the eye.
Shoot it in the eye. Fair enough. Okay. Claymore, it is your turn. Do you do what Mama says?
Yes, of course.
Okay, get your +2.
Like that. Swing over here.
Keeping your fast action, I'm assuming, for defense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, give myself 2 modifier. I'm gonna punch it in the face so hard.
Okay. With your, you're just gonna take the stun baton.
Yeah,
Okay.
just shoving it in its face.
All right. So let me roll.
Six.
So I gotta roll stamina to see if it does passes its stamina roll. So it's not gonna be stunned. But armor. Got 1 on the armor, and I've got none on his strength. So I reduced the damage by 1. So what was your total -1?
5.
5 points.
I
Okay.
beat him in the head for 5 damage.
All right.
Mama said knock you out.
As you start wailing away at this thing, you do in fact reduce it. It's going to take a severe chassis breach as you start smashing it and smashing it and smashing it. The head begins to cave in, kind of knock it off kilter, smash right at the chest, and you just cave the chest in as well. And you look at your stun baton, it's just coating and dripping in this synthetic blood. Its
Do you know how
organs
hard I
begin to
worked on all
fall.
these carvings? You ruined them.
And you can see as all of its innards begin to spill out, it just begins to sort of twitch, as if it's having difficulty moving. So it's completely immobilized. So as long as you're not near it, this thing really can't do anything to you. Beautiful. And that's great. because actually no, that was the cutting torch one. So this is the one near Ripper. So the one near Ripper is going to go next. After getting shot, it's going to once more bring the blunt instrument, the large wrench, down on top of your head. So this is going to be, I have no idea why it's doing that. 2 successes. Do you have your fast action left or anything, or any kind of defense that you have?
I don't think so.
Okay, then just roll your armor. Still not
you
working,
might have to roll it. Yeah.
You got one. So take
Yay.
1 point of damage again. So it's just continuing to just sort of like just these huge haymakers with this blunt down, with this big old giant wrench down in your arm, just like it's trying to just burst through the forearm, and you're just feeling the pain. Like that forearm is gonna look wretched whenever you take the suit off. But it's not so bad.
Good thing we got spares.
And it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do as I was commanded and shoot it in the eye with a +3 modifier.
Okay. Is there a called shot in this game? I think there's a called shot. So
I don't remember. There's take aim.
yeah, there's taking. I can't remember if there's a called shot. Because like call shot, like I don't know. There might not be. Anyway, two is good enough to put it down to 0.
Yay! That's what
Actually, I do got to roll stuff. So did you want to push? It does have defenses because it's a thick roughneck style synth. So do you want to push that?
Oh.
Do I want to? No. See, I opened my eyes. This was terrible.
Oh goodness.
I still get the 2 success, right?
You do. I am going to roll its defenses here. What's the total damage you do?
3. So 1.
3 total damage. Okay, so if it's 3 total damage, it takes 2 off, and so you do 1 damage to it.
Is that enough?
It is not. 2 would have done it. 1 would not, unfortunately.
Oh shoots.
Okay, so the next one up is the one with the cutting torch.
Do you want me to roll my stress?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'm good.
Blast. Okay. The one with the cutting torch is completely immobilized. So I'm gonna say that this thing is just like its arms are just not. It's still conscious, so it could still potentially communicate with other things. You see its eyes kind of start to flicker as the large glowing sockets begin to flicker. That static is still coming out of its mouth, and then as it's doing it, you hear a beep, beep, as if a beep is kind of underlaid in it, and that's going to be its turn. Then over by the other door, there's one that had opened the door and will now use its fast action to come up side by side with the other one of these synths. So there's 2 now that are right on Abbott, and it will attempt to take only an unarmed attack. These things don't actually have weapons on them, these 2. But it's going to take an unarmed attack on Abbott. And Abbott, that's 3 successes. Do you have anything that you want to do?
I do. Yeah, I do have my fast action that I held to defend.
Okay, go ahead and roll that. Okay, you cut 2 of the successes away. There's still 1 left, so you can roll armor against this one.
Okay. Nope.
All right, 1 point of damage your way. That's it.
All right.
There's this. Your one synth ally is just holding off these 2, honestly larger synths than him. Like these look like these are tall, like 6'2", 6'3", like roughneck style, as they look pretty imposing. The next one that goes, however, will be the other one that's standing next to Abbott, and we'll continue to do the same thing, and so we'll continue to sort of wrestle them around. This is 4 successes.
Yay!
Roll armor. Okay, 2 points of damage your way. This is pretty good, man. That's pretty good defense, to be honest. That's a lot of dice your way. Koenig, it comes back to you. You turn over. You can see Abbott is trying to hold these 2 off. You can see Ripper is still entangled with this other that still seems to be functional. The one that you and Claymore were on is now kind of twitching. There's a strange beep that's lying underneath the static coming out of its mouth, but doesn't seem to be capable of moving and attacking any further. So what would you like to do?
I want to go for the one that's on Ripper.
Okay.
Because that one's already taken some hurt. So do I take the same penalty for shooting it?
Yeah, I think so. I think a -1's fine.
Okay. So I'll take my aim along with my weapon bonus. Oh, God.
Okay.
So 2 damage and I got to roll stress.
All right, let me roll its stuff.
I got to drop something.
Armor is good. You dodged that. It's resilient talent now. It's going to block one of those damage, but still, you get your base damage for your weapons too, right?
2, yeah.
That's going to be enough to put it down, though. So I'll roll its injury.
Nice.
Ruptured fluid pump. It's going to lose its next slow action, so it won't be able to fight. And so you can just see as it as it reaches the kind of the big old wrench up to swing down on Ripper once more, you just get it right underneath its extended arm, and there's a fairly large explosion, and suddenly its arms kind of twitch a bit as it's trying to get its calibration back down.
And I rolled to see what I dropped, and it ended up being my nap relief.
Okay, nap relief falls into the ground. This is a cluttered room, so
yeah,
finding it might not be easy. Abbott, you're up. You've got 2 of these things on you. What would you like to do?
Abbott's going to say, prioritize human lives. I am okay. As I will try and take out one of them. I'll try and get it towards the neck as I swing the torch out.
Go for it.
Going back to the weapon.
Okay. 2 successes. All right, so let me do its usual. Actually, it's armor piercing, so armor doesn't even matter.
It would get 1 armor because your armor piercing is half.
Oh,
so it would either get 1 or 2 armor. I can't remember if you round up or round down.
Round up or round down. Yeah, I'll say roll down for these. I think I might have screwed you out of a point of damage. And then Jeremy, you can take that back.
And if you want to roll armor on a character sheet, you could just right-click armor and press armor piercing. But I don't know what you have.
All right, I'm going to roll 4 more dice because I'm going to... Actually, no, wait. So my armor's no good, but my resilient talent doesn't seem to be affected by anything, so I'm just going to roll my strength against it. So I reduce your damage by 1, so what's the total?
Okay.
-1?
3.
3, okay. So, all right, I'm just going to pick one of them. All right, so you cut through it. You see part of its arm begins to spout, like where the bicep would be. Anything else you want to do on your turn? You're going to save your fast action
I'm
for
saving
defense?
my fast action, yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Let's see. Barrett, your turn comes around. One of these seems to have been taken care of. Another one seems to have been affected. Like the one on Ripper looks to be struggling, but in a better position than the one that Claymore finished off. And then there's the 2 that Abbott are working on now behind you.
So my order to Claymore is you need to defend Abbott. Don't give me any lip, just do it. So that's going to be my command to Claymore.
You want to resist that command? Go ahead and roll.
I don't disobey orders. Whatever you say, ma'am.
It's just 1 success and I have to roll stress.
Okay.
Keeping it together. Then my second command to Ripper is going to be just finish that one off. You got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. +3 on your roll, Jen, when it's your turn. Okay, Claymore, it comes to you. You heard what
Okay.
Mama Bear said.
I don't disobey orders. I'll go to whichever one looks to have already taken the most damage.
Yeah. All right. Fast action can get you there. No problem. As you push through the door, you fly by Koenig, you fly by Barrett. You get side by side in this tight quarter. You've got Claymore and Abbott together, brothers in arms, and you've got these 2 maintenance jacks that you're fighting. What do you do,
Now I'm
Claymore?
gonna be
with
putting
your
this
slow?
in his face, but I'm gonna be thinking of you and that stupid A+C nonsense.
It is good to
Oh
be
my
thought of,
God.
good buddy.
Oh wow.
That's so good.
I hate
Oh,
you stupid
boy.
toasters so much.
You're gonna be like best friends after this.
All right. Passes the stamina check. Armor doesn't do anything, but his resilience talent gets one of those damages down, so it's going to be a total of 3, which is not enough to put it down, as it's still up. Okay. But you can see it's a little bit rough. Okay, so this is the one that's on Ripper here, which doesn't have a slow action. So I think what it's just going to do is it's going to preserve its fast action, so it can roll some kind of defense. So I can have extra defense on its turn. It's going to move around to Ripper. It's your turn. You have +3 on your if you attack this thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to shoot it with that command modifier.
Okay.
Same weapon.
You want to push?
No.
Okay. Does your weapon have armor piercing or anything?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
so.
All right. So let's do my stuff.
No, it does not.
All right. That's going to be enough to give it another injury. You blow one of its arms off. So as the arm is sort of like not quite functioning, is like you can see that big old wrench is kind of hanging in it. You just lower your gun right where the shoulder is, and you just blow the shoulder clear off. You hear the wrench go clanking off to the side. It's moving it, so its wrench is now gone. Its single arm is gone. It's only gonna have unarmed attacks at this point, but it's still functional.
How's that arm feel?
Okay, so the one, so that first one there is the one that Claymore had already immobilized. The second one is the one that you all have been wailing on, Claymore and Abbott. I'm gonna 50-50 which one this attacks. 1 to 3, it'll be Claymore, so it's gonna be Abbott instead. It's going to continue to just its unarmed attacks. That's all it has. Only 1 success. If you wanted to defend Abbott, or if you just wanted to armor.
I'm gonna go with armor just because the other one may hit me a lot harder
Sure.
like it did last time.
Sure. Yeah.
Whew, okay. All right.
It clips you, but your armor is able to absorb the impact. Kind of maybe you stumble a little bit, but you're right next to Claymore, and you're able to kind of keep yourself from stumbling over by leaning on him. All right. And then finally, it is the other one. That's by this one is untouched. Still hasn't taken any damage. This one will bring a haymaker down on Abbott. 2 successes if you want to roll your defense.
Abbott's gonna lean into it to cut it off before it could get as much momentum, and we'll see if that pans out. Let's see here. No, it don't.
Okay. Roll your armor.
No.
Okay. Take 2 points of damage as you lean in to get close, and as the arms come down, like like the two-handed like wrestling smash, you manage to get that one, but in fact he just grabs the back of your head and just pulls it down into like a knee stump. It just catches you right in the sort of underneath the helmet, and so you can feel like a crack in your various joints where your jaw connects to your neck. Is 2 more points of damage towards Abbott. Koenig, it's back around to you.
Okay. The one that just put that hurt on Abbott, I'm going to take my aim and take a shot.
Go for it.
You know what? That's 4 base damage. I want to go ahead and push that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, stack another one on there. So that's 5 base damage.
Okay.
5 damage.
Was this the? Are you hitting the one that you can see synth blood on it, or are you hitting the one that hasn't taken any damage yet?
Which is the one that just hit Abbott? Is that the one?
They both hit him. So they're
Okay, I'll
gonna
go with
do
the one
some-
with the blood then. Yeah.
All right.
Armor's
Armor's
if I remember
nothing.
correctly. That's armor piercing, isn't it? Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm
I
not
got
gonna do
nothing
anything.
from it. So
Yeah.
you did plenty of damage. That's gonna take that
Nice.
one down. How much?
Nice.
How much total?
5.
All right. You did 5 damage to it. It had 1 health left. I'm gonna roll 2 injuries and take the worst because I just feel like you should get more credit for that. The head dislocation sounds better. Or do you want the destroyed leg servos? Do you have a preference?
Let's go with the leg servos. That way we can put some distance.
Okay.
Or
Alright.
give Claymore something to stomp on.
You lower the rifle, look down the sight. It's not that long of a shot, but it still has to be fairly precise as you're trying to shoot through a door and through 2 of your teammates.
Right.
And you manage to just rip one of the legs right off as it stumbles now to the ground. The stump where you have taken the leg off is just flailing about like a fire hose that's left untethered. And it's Abbott's turn.
Used to be a roughneck until he took a sniper round to the knee.
Abbott looks down at the one that had its legs taken out, and he looks up towards Claymore. I would hate to take away your kill count. And he attacks the one that's standing.
Nice. Okay, go for it. This one has not been touched yet. Okay. So I'm going to do armor piercing. Got 1 on the armor piercing roll.
Okay.
And then on its strength, got 1 on that. So I managed to block 2 of that damage. I soaked 2 of the damage. I think you were going to do a total of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 2 is going to be 3 points of damage onto this one as you cut through, like you cut right across the belly. You see little bits of blood begin to trickle down. A tiny little coolant tube begins to peek out of the wound, but it is nonetheless still standing. Preserving your fast, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to Barrett again.
Okay, so I will. Let's see, who do I want to do? Ripper first. I think that's the obvious. Just finish it off already.
It's like any time now.
Right?
Let's go. Stream was supposed to be over 20 minutes ago.
2 successes for Ripper.
Okay.
And then I'll do Claymore. I'll do Abbott, actually.
Okay.
Because Claymore
for
should
it.
have an easy stomp, so I'll do. Oh.
Oh, wow. You can change your friends and your rivals anytime you want. Go ahead, Barrett.
Oh,
Abbott, you got it. Finish it off.
Affirmative.
Oh, goodness.
You're not speaking synthetic. There you go.
1 success. And now I am. I was like, Claymore's going to be so disappointed. Claymore's going to be so disappointed. I was second guessing my life choices.
So as you probably shout it the first time and nothing, like there's no acknowledgement. Maybe you shout it again the second time, like almost pissed off. And there's sort of like a nervousness or anxiety that's coming through. Everybody, with the exception of Abbott, of course, take one because you are centered, and so that means everybody is actually short distance to you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Everyone, go ahead and take a point of stress. Okay, so Claymore comes around to you. I'll say this: I don't think a coup de grace technically exists, but if you want to perform a coup de grace on this one, I'll say any successful attack on the one that's laying prone with the leg flying about is going to automatically destroy. It's going to give you like the final thing because it's prone. It's already taken a bunch of damage. So if you want to just make sure this one doesn't do anything,
That's what I figured. Like, you didn't need any extra help with this.
Oh
It's your
yeah,
call.
that's absolutely what I'm do. I'm gonna just curb stomp the living mess out of it.
you should take the shield, lift the shield up, and just stomp the shield like right on
Oh
its
yeah,
chest and
do
cut
some
it in
U.S.
half.
agent nonsense.
Bifurcate that thing. Oh yeah.
Yes, that sounds beautiful. I'm not even bother
Alright.
using the stun baton. Just gonna.
Oh no. You want to push that? Probably should.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna say, okay, is it strong enough to withhold? If it's strong enough with its strength and with its armor, it is not. As the first one, you can feel like some resistance from the armor. You lift it up even higher, and you just completely cut him in half with your shield, right down the sternum. Just ripped in half as it pools and
That's what you get for ambushing us. You shouldn't have gotten ahead of yourself.
Beautiful. Everybody take a point of stress back. Everyone heal a point of stress at the sight of this amazing rip in half. I like it. All right, so the one next to Ripper just got its arm taken off. It's gonna be able to do all it's gonna be able to do is an unarmed attack at Ripper, as its arm with the wrench goes flailing. It's going to take its left arm and it's just going to swing with this quick jab at your face. And oh my god, that's 4 successes on that.
Hey Jeff, can you roll my armor for me?
Oh
Nah,
no.
you don't need it. You don't need it. Do you have your fast action or anything to try to defend?
I'd like to try to defend.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Start with that.
And that would be close combat, correct?
It's just close combat, yeah.
Ah.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh no, I have 6 armor, don't I?
Yeah, her armor.
Oh, sorry. I'll roll this again. My bad. Still nothing.
Oh.
6 dice.
Dang.
Oh no.
That's 4 points of damage to Ripper.
So-
Oh man. This
How you
Ripper's
looking?
looking at the
Rough.
ground.
No,
Ripper,
no.
you're broken?
Oh yeah, I only have 4 health.
Karayan, it rolled 3 twice, so that's 6 total dice. Okay.
Oh.
I think this sounds like an injury roll.
It's gonna be the arm, isn't it?
You got to roll this. So go and
shit.
I am not taking responsibility for this again. So that
Okay.
last time. Listen, there's only a couple that are instant deaths. What are the chances of another one happening? Go over to the injury tables under the roll table menu on the right, and there should be a critical injuries. And there's actually 2 different ones, so you can roll from either.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific because I don't know.
It looks like 3 dots and 3 lines.
Up at the top next to like where you
The
find
music
the character
symbol?
sheet.
I get it.
There you go.
Winded.
Winded. That's the best one. That's the
Wow.
simplest. It's double
Yay.
ones.
Goodness.
Punches you right in the stomach. You fall over, like you're just, and like you're basically broken and kind of out of it, but like you're not like physically injured for a long time. But this is going to take you out of the fight with a broken condition at least. So there's not much you're gonna be able to do. So it comes
Can
around
I
to your
at
turn.
least, like huff out beeping?
Yeah.
Because the other one's beeping
sure.
and I'm super paranoid about it now.
Yeah, I think you can also crawl away. So if you wanted to crawl away, you
Oh,
can
I'm
do that too.
crawling.
Yeah, so you crawl away from this thing, and like there's enough clutter and stuff here, and it's only got 1 arm. I'm not gonna give it like I'm not gonna force some ability test here. There's enough to cause this to be too difficult for it to hit you. But as you start crawling towards Barrett at this point,
It's beeping. Beeping.
okay, so that one's dead. That was the one that you killed, Claymore. The next one, oh sorry, no, that was the one with the cutting torch. So yeah, technically you killed that one. Then that's the one that you killed, Claymore. And then number 4 is the one that's still up and by Abbott and will continue to punch away. I'll 50-50 it again at this point with the sight of extra blood. 1 to 3 is Claymore. It will turn its attention to Claymore, which makes sense. After what you just did, it will turn to you, open its mouth,
I'm here.
and it will start to swing at you once more. That's 1 success. It's 1
I
success.
would like to close combat to.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Ooh.
Take
3.
that weak shit out of here.
Yeah, so as it just punches at you, you lift the shield, smash its arm against the side of the wall, and it's just like kind of pinned, and it looks at you. And that'll be its turn. Koenig comes back around to you. So in terms of status, 2 of them are taken care of. One of them's been cut in half. The other one is immobile and it's got like this static and beep coming out of its mouth. One of them's given Ripper some trouble. It's got one arm left, but it did manage to take her down. The other is on both Claymore and Abbott, and seems to be ineffectually trying to attack Claymore. So it's basically two targets.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll ignore Ripper on the ground. So I'm gonna go with the one that's still whole and take some aim.
Yeah, go for it. Nice.
Okay,
Stress
so
good. That's a good roll.
yeah, 5 together, and I'll have to roll stress.
Is that armor piercing? I don't remember.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So armor piercing, nothing from that. It's going to roll its strength. It's going to be able to absorb 1. So what's the total
4
minus 1?
altogether.
That is exactly enough to bring it down for a critical injury.
Ooh.
System shutdown. Boom.
Nice.
Describe the
Yeah.
shot. Describe it.
Oh, I'm putting this thing in center mass. I'm like, all right, I know this thing's power core is right there. I got a clear shot right underneath Claymore's armpit, and I just place it just perfect, and it just goes down. But I do freeze.
Okay. Smash it all. So you see Claymore smash the arm to the side. He's got his armpit up. You fire right underneath his armpit, right center mass. Claymore, as you're watching this thing, kind of almost laughing at its ineffectual punch, you see suddenly a hole just emerge in its chest. First, it was like a tiny little hole, and then the welting out of the synthetic blood. And then as you look behind it, you can just see all of its innards are laying on the ground behind it in the middle of the T section as this thing crumbles now in front of you. Everyone take a point of stress back.
Nice.
As you're
Nice.
ripping through these things pretty easily. Not easily, but, you know. Doing okay. You're doing okay.
It looks
That's
cool.
So there's really only one now. There's just the one by Ripper is the only one. The one with the one arm. Abbott, is your turn. The 2 near you are taken care of. They're completely deactivated, destroyed. You look around. You can see Ripper is kind of rolling on the ground a little bit, crawling towards Barrett. You can hear her heavy, gasp for breath, and you can see the one-armed synthetic with its kind of golden yellow synthetic skin is turning to sort of chase after her. Barrett is kind of there as well, so could potentially intersperse on her behalf. But what would you like to do?
Abbott's gonna move towards it and kick it in the chest to knock it back, because
Okay.
he heard Ripper say it's beeping.
Okay. Go ahead and roll close combat.
Okay.
Holy crap.
Wow.
That's really good.
I am everything you could not be. You will soon be obsolete.
So that's gonna do what, 3 damage to it? 2 damage. Okay, we're at-
No, 2. Yeah.
Okay, so you walk up, you kick it, it stumbles back, and as it stumbles back, it does the classic as there was some kind of protruding broken pipe that it just kind of impales itself on, and it just sits there. But it's actually the Claymore one with the cutting torch that was beeping. This one technically wasn't. And since this one's completely destroyed, the other 2 are, there's only one that is. You guys keep your distance as it continues to beep and beep and beep. But it doesn't explode.
Is it maybe signaling
That's
for
what I was
more?
worried about. Like, we need to get the heck out of this room.
And Claymore, as you say, is it maybe signaling for more? You look to the other side of that cluttered room, and you see a vent up at the top of the wall suddenly push open as a grating goes flying into the room, rattling down on the ground. And you see almost like a spider that's kind of coming out of a squeezed tiny hole, an arm a leg, and then you see this strange kind of like green colored, awkwardly limbed synthetic just pop out, drop to the ground, much like some kind of feral dog. All these legs, the angling of its elbows and its knees kind of shifting and twisting, its head just kind of slipping as it turns up at you, eyes bright, and you just hear, and that's where we're going to go ahead and stop for tonight.
Oh no.
Thanks for the goosebumps, Jeff.
Good night, everybody. Everybody have
Happy
a good
birthday,
night's
Jen.
sleep. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Jen.
As I'm crawling away.
for Jen's birthday, I punched her in the stomach.
I mean, you tried to take her arm. I mean,
I did. Okay. Well, that was fun. But hey, it was good. No, I'm not going to empty the turn tray. I'm going to keep that initiative up for next week. Okay. Let's do a closing little round table and get the hell out of here. This went a lot longer than it should have. Chuck, what are the defenders doing this week? We'll never know because Chuck lost his voice.
I lost my voice. Anyway, Wednesday, you can swing by Defenders, 9 p.m. Central. We're going to be playing some Pathfinder 2, running around in some sewers.
Awesome.
Thursday, we're going to be doing Watercolors and Warriors, our 5th Ed Ghibli-inspired campaign that's taking place in the Feywild right now. Friday, we're actually off. One of our crew's getting married, and some silly reason asked me to be the best man, so I got to go do that shit.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel for friends.
Well, we are in the chum bucket, right?
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. And then Saturday, 1 p.m., we're going to be doing some Forbidden Lands. So yeah, we see all sorts of these people here, over there. That's what we got.
All right. Jen, what do you got going on?
Everybody, tomorrow night on Pixel Preller, we will be playing with the Grim Pearlie's crew to do some Tribes of Midgard at 6:30 p.m. Central, and then see you guys on Saturday for some Forbidden Lands. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Adam.
Yeah. Going to be joining Pixel Prowler tomorrow to play some more Tribes of Midgard. Love that game. It's awesome. And you can come to the website. You can give us a follow over at Grim Perilous Plays, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow, maybe. Yeah.
Fantastic. Jeremy, you got anything to plug?
nope, just hanging out with you folks.
Okay. Melissa and I come back on Friday. We're doing Delta Green. Just started up part 3 of Impossible Landscapes. Come check that out. It's a lot of fun. Saturday, we'll be back to Blades in the Dark. We are 3 weeks in. Going to do a new score. Looking forward to that. And next Monday, you can catch some of us here as we're going to be playing Ultraviolet Grasslands as we alternate between Alien and UVG. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back, hopefully with a full crew. We should hopefully have Matt back at that point, and we can see what the hell else is on this weird station. But for those of you who were here tonight, who threw out some bits for singing and stress relief, thank you very much. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for everything. And thanks for just being here and watching. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we appreciate that. Come check us out live sometime. But I'm going to go ahead and start up a raid so you can keep the ttrpg entertainment going. Everybody else have a great night. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.